Hello and good morning. We just want to apologize for our tardiness. Normally, you know how I am, a little bit ADD. I start these shows on time. We are a few panel members down as we wait for a few guys to come in here. I'm not sure if they're going to be late or just miss the show entirely, but we do have an amazing show ready for you. It is our Halloween episode, which of course we're going to be talking about our favorite scariest games, what we are playing currently, and a few hot button topics. And like I said, as we wait for everyone to kind of just funnel in here, let's get into some of the introductions. And we're going to welcome back a very good friend of the show. He is actually one of the first people I asked to be a regular panel member here. You know him as the Trophy Hunter. I know him as a very, very good friend. Please welcome back BitCloud Gaming.
Yes, sir. Good to be back for sure, man. For sure, man. What kind of low applause was that, sir? I don't understand. I didn't hear that through your mic.
Oh, it's the RTX voice. It's the RTX voice. Yeah.
And RTX voice does work.
Back. It's definitely good to be back. Been too focused on content, been focused on a few other things, but thank God I was able to go to sleep on time so I can get up. I was like, oh man, I can't.
Well, definitely appreciate you being here for sure. And like I said, we're gonna like I said, if anyone's in the chat and you've worked with me before and you want to jump in here, we do have some spots. Again, we don't know where Dreadpool is. We don't know where Crispy Bomb is. They should be here momentarily. But if they're not here and you want to jump in and be a part of today's show, just reach out to me through DM, which I have opened, and we will get in on that. But next up, you know him representing the PlayStation Nation, wearing his own merch to promote the trophy room. Please welcome Mr. Bad Bits.
Hello. This morning has been a magical one. We got the model suit, everybody. It's great.
Nice.
It's nothing but up from here, man. This is anything, like the worst thing could happen, and I'd be like, well, you know what? I got the Into the Spider-Verse suit, so like, it's a win from here. You know.
What does that suit mean to you?
A whole lot.
I mean, the character by itself is inspirational, but that suit adds another level to it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like we go back to like that movie itself, meaning just absolutely everything to me, and like getting me out of one of my deepest funks that I've been in, and man, like seeing Miles there and having the same animation work of the movie translated into the game itself just makes it feel so authentic. Even down to like when you're fighting people, you'll actually see like bam, exclamation point, like shown above your action. Like it's so fucking cool. And Miles again means so much to me, and just through even the art perspective of that movie, just man. Again, having everything, Insomniac having everything, like them translating it perfectly onto their game is just, it's on another level. We don't deserve them, you know?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say we don't deserve them. What I'm going to say is that if you're not a fan of their work by now, then I got to say you may want to check your taste buds, because I mean, listen, I understand maybe Ratchet and Clank may not be a thing. I get that maybe Sunset Overdrive wasn't your thing, but I mean, what could you say about Spider-Man? But my God, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It is a revelation, at least in my opinion. It's one of this generation's titles that you'll look back on. You know, once we're years and years into the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series models, you're gonna look back at this particular generation and say, you know, each console had some bangers, had some really impressive work, especially in the third party when you bring in The Witcher and you bring in a few other games like that. But Spider-Man, at least for me, 2018 Spider-Man is still magical. It is still a masterpiece, and what we're gonna get with Miles, I think, is even more impressive.
Absolutely. It's again, I'm just, you know, and again, Mando season 2's out. It's just, it's a good time to be Joseph right now. So it's been a good morning.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch the first episode this evening with Mrs. Boom. And is there one coming on Sunday as well?
Oh God, I don't know, but if there is.
Yeah, because I thought that usually they do it on Friday and that the new episodes are on Sunday. I could be mistaken, because I think they did that last year where you got 2 in the first weekend and then it was one weekend after, one per week after that. I have to
I
check.
won't complain if they do that.
You know what? Let's get into while we wait for the other panel members to get in here. Let's start off small, and let's start off with what we're playing, what we're currently playing. I'll go first. There's a lot on the table. I don't think that with the new consoles under 2 weeks away that you want to really jump into anything. For me, I know that a lot of people are waiting on Watch Dogs Legions because they want to take advantage of the new hardware, which I get, because the loading times, man, they're tough. Not during the game per se, but getting the game started. My God, the loading times, it feels like you're there for an eternity. That's something that we're gonna completely move away from when we move into the new next generation. That I cannot wait for. Load times, people don't understand exactly how much time you waste. Waiting for games to load, and I think that it's going to be. I know this is going to sound like extra, like really looking between the lines. But let's say, for instance, like I know a lot of parents who game, and I know a lot of parents that I deal with on a regular basis that their kids are young, and if you have young children, a lot of the times it's hard. But what are your thoughts so far on the loading that's going to be changed, Joe?
That's my biggest thing. I think you nailed it as well. When it turns to like, waiting all these long periods of time, or waiting like this in between moment between like we're only a few weeks away. Do I really want to get into anything? That's been like a thing that I've had this whole month. I was just like, do I really want to get like invested in a game right now? Because in a few weeks, I'll be playing something else on the PlayStation 5 and my Xbox Series. And like right now, I've been deep into Sea of Thieves, which I gotta show you a clip. I gotta put it out there because we totally, we should report a murder because that's what we did. It's nuts. Nonetheless, though, loading into that game, oh my God, it takes like 2 years. You can literally make dinner, come back, and still loading. So like, it's that's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be practically eliminated, and having the same kind of not completely level playing field, but a not as steep difference between Xbox and like PC in terms of that game is going to be great because the loading is going to be that the SSD is going to be that much faster, and you're going to get all that FPS goodness is awesome. And just seeing what this means for games 1 to 2 years out, we'll still see where they're like going through like a crevice of a wall, that hidden loading screen for the next like year or two. But like, how does game design change? That's the thing I'm really looking forward to. If like, how do devs take advantage of the no load times? That's what I'm really excited to see.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Big Cloud, what are your thoughts? I mean, I know we're talking about what we're playing, and Watch Dogs is something that I'll say this before I get to you regarding the loading. Watch Dogs Legions, I'm gonna have to say this right out of the gate. If you are a fan of the Ubisoft model, then I think you're gonna love this game. I think that if you are a fan of Watch Dogs as an IP, you're going to love this game. If those two things are taken off the table for you, you're probably not going to like this game. It is very technical in the sense where there are gunfights, sure, but it's not the main crux of it. You are using technology to your advantage, and I got to tell you, I absolutely love it. Like I said, one of the highlights for me personally was the protagonist in Watch Dogs 2. Which was, which Marcus, I thought, right? Marcus was amazing. His NPCs around him were amazing. They were all like really like they each had such a different characteristic to them. They made them so different. I have statues of all of them, and it's one of my favorite games. I put a significant time into Watch Dogs 2. So that's really what I'm invested in. Later on today, it's on Zemi's Twitch channel, we're going to be hearing him scream like a little girl potentially while we play the new supermassive game Little Hope, which that launched.
I'm hearing
today.
good things.
Yes,
like,
yes, Well, we played. We've beaten Man of Medan on his Twitch channel. I think 4 times so far.
Wow.
We've gotten the best ending, which got 100 points. We missed it by one mistake on killing everyone, which I was a little pissed because the guy died on the boat and we didn't get the achievement didn't pop, so I wasn't sure if they had to die on the ship or he had to die like as he was floating away. I don't know, but we didn't get it. I was mad because we wanted to murder everybody. For you, Big Cloud, are you? Is that one of the most exciting things for you besides the new console? Of course, we're all excited for new hardware, but the loading times being a thing of the past.
Dude, that's always been the biggest crutch of console gaming is the loading time. Like if you play fighting games like Tekken 7, you have to wait feels like 30 minutes per match, even especially when you add matchmaking on top of it. I love this. I love the fact that they legit removed any restriction between you and your content. That's like the best thing going into the next gen systems. In terms of what I've been playing, me personally, I mean, I've been addicted to Rogue Company. And I did play Watch Dogs Legion. Watch Dogs Legion is really good. But I honestly been addicted to Rogue Company. And
who's your character?
Rogue?
Yeah.
And Rogue, it's either Trench or I would say the medic. I'm really, really good with Trench and the medic.
Yeah, I like the medic.
I have been using Dallas because they have the Dr. Disrespect DLC. I don't know if Boo heard about it, but Dr. Disrespect is literally in the game as like a.
I heard that he was going to be in the game. That's pretty wicked. I got to be honest.
He's they completely modeled a character after him. His personality, all the shenanigans he does online, the character does. He even has his own map. So that backdrop that you see when he's like live streaming, that red world, is actually a map in the game.
God,
it's God, it's really good.
I gotta admit that's pretty epic. I gotta be honest with you. But I mean, listen, it's all about having fun playing games. You know what I'm saying? The social media aspect of gaming can get a little muddy. We've seen that, and unfortunately, we've all been a part of it.
Oh, wait till you get to the cooler parts though. When you start live streaming. Remember how they made it super easy this time around with the live streaming aspects.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I probably not going to take advantage of that. I'm just, I'm that's just not my bag. I'm just more
play games on your channel. Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't really have a Twitch channel. I think I might have started one
here on YouTube. Like you just, I don't know, talk about like Gears or something. Like when the next Gears or Halo or whatever big acquisition comes.
Yeah, I know people have asked for it per se, but I always feel like sitting behind the microphone, talking with the community like this is better. Yeah, it's added pressure. It's you got to perform for the people. And plus I like breaking news kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it takes a lot. Like streaming for me, like doing this is natural, but like streaming like gameplay, like I'm gonna be dipping my toe in the water in November, but like it takes a lot because you have to keep that energy for like multiple hours.
You don't want to be rude and just pay all your attention to the game. You got people saying hi. You want to just say hi back, but I had that issue too. It's like I'm really hyped for it too, though. Especially with both consoles. You remember how they even confirmed this with Epic, how they're able to drag and drop like props or pictures of actual assets in here. Now, this is going to pay a big picture, and I know Boom is hyped for this game, the sequel for this at least. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2.
Yes.
When they get into actual props being used in this game, better weapon customization with the lightsabers. I can't wait for that type of stuff. Like, that's gonna be
I think that I don't want to say they played it safe. Because I loved what Respawn did. I have almost I'm missing one achievement, I think is what I'm missing out of everything. And I loved everything that they did. And I'm actually going to probably try and I'll probably run through the game. I know that it's going to run at 60 frames per second. That's going to be a big difference. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. But I think that in the next one, we could see an expansion of an epic proportion, simply because they have everything that they need is there. They have the character, they have the story. I think they can open up the world a little bit. Would be great. Maybe add some additional.
Are you expecting like the Force Unleashed type of thing for it?
I would like to say. Listen, we've been hearing some talk about the Force Unleashed potentially being released in a 2-pack. for next gen systems as HD, or I don't care how they do it. I loved The Force Unleashed. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm
So
wondering
yeah,
if they're building towards that, like with this newer character, like they might make, because obviously Star Killer is canon,
yes,
and
he
so
certainly is.
this
Yes.
new character, is also canon. So I'm wondering if they'll cross paths some in some capacity, because he pretty much led, he destroyed the holocron. All the Jedi are basically left to fate at this point.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if Star Killer is canon anymore because
So?
Lucas. No, and he's technically in the expanded universe.
Okay, so it's like an Elseworld story type of
Yeah, but they could definitely use his elements, and they've also Star Killer's voice actor. He voices now, like he's the voice of Maul in both the movies and the what you call it.
It'd be cool
shows.
though if they had Master Mace Windu.
Dude, those rumors of him having his own show, just do it.
For Jedi Fallen Order, because you notice how they in the start of the game you find Falcoon's starship in the scrapyard. That's his starship, the one that fell in the prequels. I don't know if you noticed that when he got shot down and it crashed. At the beginning, it was like already crashed, and the guy was like, "Holy, like crap! That's a Jedi fighter." Whoever wrote this went out in a blaze of glory. He's basically talking about the prequel where he got shot down.
Damn.
So
well, it would be pretty. It'd be pretty. I mean, I think we can all admit that we want to see Mace Windu make a return, even if he's missing a hand, because he lost a hand. So I mean, it can happen in Star Wars. I mean, many people have lost hands. Luke Skywalker. So that's. I mean, he got electrocuted out the window. Is he dead? I'd like to say no.
He used dark side. He used the dark side attributes, like a Sith, but he's a good guy. But yeah. It all depends on gravity at this point, boo.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. What I want to do is I want to open up the show, because we actually Slow Mo Backslap is going to be joining us in a bit. Which is awesome, because we can never get him on the show is always great. I want to open up with a story that I pulled this morning, and it's obviously again it's part of the bits and bytes section of this show, and it's a story about PlayStation, more specifically Jim Ryan and what he had to say about PlayStation VR. A little surprising for me personally, because obviously my love and affection for that that peripheral VR as a whole. And I'll say this, one of the most exciting things for me as a PlayStation supporter isn't just the solid single player games. I mean, you can easily say that. I mean, obviously, you've heard me talk about their adult themed, story driven, first party games. I mean, we I love those things because I'm an old school cat. But it's PlayStation VR that is something that I've been supporting since its inception. So much so that I had the original. And then when they updated it with the HDR pass through, I then sold my other one privately and then rebought it again. And I have over 50 games for it. I haven't played it in a bit, but like Iron Man was the last one that I played, which is fantastic. With that said, I had high hopes that PlayStation VR 2.0 that we've been hearing about would launch closer to the PlayStation 5. Unfortunately, after this recent Jim Ryan interview that we're going to talk about, it looks like that is not, in fact, going to be the case for at least the first couple of years of the hardware. That's a little disappointing. Sony's CEO, Jim Ryan, sat down with a video game. I'm not sure if it was Video Game Chronicles, but he sat down and he had a pretty interesting conversation. Actually, it was the Washington Post that he sat down with. And this is what he actually had to say. This statement suggests that the update to Sony's PlayStation headset, unfortunately, is years away. And this is a direct quote from Jim. He says, "I think we're more than a few minutes from the future of VR." Ryan told the Post, PlayStation believes in VR. Sony believes in VR. And we definitely believe at some point in the future, VR will represent a meaningful component of interactive entertainment. Now, will that be this year? No. Will that be next year? No. Will it come to at some point, at some stage? We believe that. He notes that the upcoming PlayStation 5 will be released obviously November 12th and which supports the old PlayStation VR headset, which I was lucky enough to finally get in and get my confirmation for my adapter, because that was a bit of a problem. It kept telling me that my serial number wasn't authorized, and I'm like, what are you talking about? This is I've been using this, you guys know it, but it was just because the website was getting bombarded. Now, according to the Verge.com, because they ran an article, it was based on the same interview, but they had something interesting to say. They said that in recent years, Sony has been consistently cagey about its virtual reality plans, and in April 2019, PlayStation Systems architect Mark Cerny told Wired magazine that VR is very important to us, but didn't offer details. Now, Dominic Malaysian, head of research and development, told CNET that a new headset wouldn't arrive alongside the PlayStation 5, but Malaysian also seemed to take the next generation PSVR for granted, discussing features like eye tracking and updated controllers. And last month, of course, Ryan called VR an unproven space that Sony will still be interested in, and they are really, according to Jim Ryan, really intrigued and excited for the future. I'll go to BitCloud first. I don't know if you are a supporter like myself of PlayStation VR. I absolutely love it. I actually think their headset is on par, potentially right like neck and neck, because I have two types of VR. I have the Facebook VR headset, which is fantastic. No wires. It's amazing. And I did not get the 2.0 version. I have the old one from last year. I'm not going to
Oculus, not that the is it the Rift? I guess it's
the Oculus. Yeah.
Oculus Rift, yeah.
Oh my God, what the hell's it? What the hell's the name of the Oculus? Holy crap! I can't believe it.
Yeah, Oculus Rift. Yeah, you're nailing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm a big fan. For you, are you disappointed that we're not going to see this at least for the next 2 years, or is this something you kind of expected? Like, maybe they just wanted to get the new hardware out the door, and then they'll worry about a peripheral piece of hardware later on.
I mean, we're just now starting, so obviously the main attention is to get the main system, the main unit out there, because now we have two, so you got to get those out there first. But as far as like the VR is concerned, the moment they announced that you get, that you need to get the adapter, you can register to get your adapter now for the console, that kind of already told you that, it's going to be a little off, like, until we get it. And the reason why it's going to be off is more than likely because Sony's going to be trying to aim for a wireless design. I've covered a few patents about that before in the past. They were looking for that type of solution, and also two different type of controllers. As you guys already know, they basically use the Move controllers from the PlayStation 3 to, because that was easier for them. It was not, it wasn't, they didn't have you buy nothing new. If you already had the Move controllers, you were already halfway set, for the actual unit. So it made sense. But for the newer one, obviously they're looking for newer things. Obviously haptic feedback's a big deal. I mean, I don't know if you guys seen the DualSense controller, how the triggers are reacting.
Joe actually has one, which is great. I'm picking mine up today at noon. As soon as the show is done, I'm heading over to pick up all my peripherals.
Joe can confirm for you. If he picks up the controller and he like bends the trigger at a certain angles, he'll feel the different clicks to it. That type of stuff is going to be a big deal for VR in the future. Yeah. And obviously 3D audio is another big thing that they're probably going to build this around as well, obviously. So sound is another big key component in VR. So I see it as definitely, not a big setback at all, because again, we're just now starting the gen, but we'll get it when we eventually get there. Obviously, that's when the bigger, more focused games for PS5 and Series X really start coming out for about like 2 years or so, because we have cross-gen games right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, before I get to you on it, let me just catch up with some of the outstanding super chats that have come in. We have Alex Cullian. He drops a very generous $5 super chat. First one of the day. Thank you, Alex. Definitely appreciate you being here, and of course your generosity. He says, "Good Friday. Let's get going." And we got Hank Dank dropping a $2 super chat. Thank you, Hank, for the generosity. He says, "Give me some sugar, baby." And of course, he's talking about my favorite film of all time, Evil Dead 2 is probably my favorite film, but I believe that is from Evil Dead 3.
I thought it was
Army of Darkness. is really what it's from. Not so much 3, but yeah, that's one. Again, my brother and I, Neo Mental, went to see that film during a blizzard. It was literally just me and him sitting in the theater. If he's
Were you
listening,
scared at all? No.
scared of the film? No. Scared that we were going to die in a blizzard? Yes. I was definitely a little nervous about getting killed. I told him, I think I might even said, I think we're going to be a part of the Evil Dead if we keep going, but we did. And we went to see that film. We actually watched it twice in the theater because they let us, because no one was in there. And yes, by the time we got to our car 4 hours later, it was buried. So awesome. It was good times. Bounty Boom, very generous friend of the show. He did something really cool for the Patreon members. He drops an outstanding $5 super chat. Says, "Good morning. I left a surprise for our Patreon members, so I'm going to do a drawing later on." And yes, speaking of drawings, I am going to be generating the first bunch of winners. I'm giving my Mrs. Boomstick, my brother Neo Mental, and I are giving away over $1,800 worth of prizes in the first week of November. Of course, that includes PlayStation 5 digital edition with Miles Morales. Also, an Xbox Series X. We're also giving away a DualSense controller. We're also giving away an Xbox Series X controller and 10 digital copies of your choice of games. And of course, that's one winner per game for the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X. You just let me know what game you want once the winners are picked, and I will send that right out to you via email or DM. And like I said, I'll be picking those winners sometime next week. But we're going to start off with the controllers. We're going to work our way through the 10 games. And of course, then by the end of the week, we'll be announcing who the big winners, and those winners are going to come from either being a Patreon member or being a channel supporter. And obviously, if you are both, you get 2 entries. So we'll be making those announcements later next week. But let's get to my very good friend Joe. Joe, when you talk about PlayStation VR, it is a major part of Sony, and yeah. I think that it is a big part of Sony, as a matter of fact. Oh wait, hold on, before I get to slow-mo backslap, thank you for jumping in, brother. Super appreciate it.
Yo, what's up, guys?
How's everything?
What up?
Hey, yeah. Hey, been pretty good. It's a pretty eventful and productive Friday morning. How you guys doing? I got my iced coffee on deck, so I'm super excited.
Well, we're happy to have you. We're down a couple of panel members, and obviously to get you on the show is always great. We're talking about PlayStation VR, and we'll get your opinion on it in a second. So I'll just let you.
I also want to say real quick before Joe goes that I heard you talking about the giveaway, and just want to let you know that I still haven't secured the PS5 as a pre-order. So that digital edition, like if you would be so kind to, you can pretend like you're doing the giveaway, but just as long as at the end of the day, be like, oh, and slow-mo backslap gets whoever it turns out actually won it. Let's just slide that all out the way and just give it to me.
But you know what?
I appreciate it.
Privately. Like I said, I'm excited to get these consoles. I'm disappointed. I saw a story that I'm going to be talking about that was posted today about how in-store PlayStation 5 availability does not look good. A lot of places are already saying we don't have them, and that's wow, man. That kind of sucks because damn.
Last night, and this is interesting, it's like everything PlayStation related is really difficult to get a hold of. Last night, like it was about to go to sleep. It's like 1 a.m, and I see a tweet from someone I normally follow that says, "Hey, Best Buy's got the Sony Pulse 3D headset available on Best Buy right now." And I said, "Oh, let me get my app out. Let me try to secure this." You had to do that, right?
Joe's been privy to a few extra things. He's like,
like everything has been going for like 60 seconds. Even the charger stand, which shocked the hell out of me.
Right,
that should be coming today.
Oh, that's going to.
Yeah, I got my confirmation.
Okay.
Bevin for Best
is a scalper. Bevin's one scalpers out here.
Yeah, I know.
He got his scripts running on these websites. He's securing everything. And
when you're part of the PlayStation delegation, you get there's some perks. Yeah.
Oh man, but like and Best Buy tried to implement some ways of slowing down the sellouts. They're only allowing certain stock at certain moments, so it's like you get like 3 seconds to try to secure your order, and then it says wait a moment, we're gonna have more in like 5 minutes, and then 5 minutes later they allow a little bit more. I'm sitting there for like half an hour trying to get this headset before it finally says sold out, and I'm just like, what do I have to do? I don't understand. But hey man, it's great. Joe's got all of it. He's probably got like 5 PS5s and
4.
No, so I reckon we all do unboxings of them on the channels, right? But we all have to wear white gloves. Do a platform.
I only had blue gloves. I've done it.
At least you got gloves. But Joe, let's get your opinion on whether or not you were disappointed by Jim Ryan, because here's the thing. I listen, Jim Ryan, he sometimes changes things that he says. So when he says that, a couple of only a month ago, that he said that VR may not be sustainable, and then of course, and he talks about how it's something we're going to do. I have concerns for what they're going to do with PlayStation VR 2.0. I mean, we have heard for years that they have invested significant R&D into it to make it wireless. So I would imagine that the next one is going to look like the Oculus in some form. Yeah. That there's not going to be any wires hanging out the back of it, which is kind of something I'm looking forward to. Are you disappointed that we may not get this for a couple of years?
No, I think I think actually for the first time in a very long time, I agree with what Jim Ryan's saying. It is still an unproven space. I think the person that, or the I say this very loosely, the group that's getting it the most right so far in terms of like pricing and tech is Oculus. But I mean, there's certain back steps they've made because of Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg that has really, really dampened their momentum. So like the one thing that I think a lot of people want to get away from, and I think where the VR, especially for PlayStation, is going to head towards, is actually making sure this thing isn't connected to a PlayStation. Oculus Quest is a great example. I think it's like $299.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's complete. Like, there's some games that won't work on it because I guess the hardware isn't fully there yet. But if you could also connect it to a PC and get some extra power out of it, for what I'm aware of, I think that's where PlayStation's heading to with the next iteration of PSVR, where it is a more Vita-like experience in terms of, hopefully gets better support, in terms of it's kind of its own ecosystem where it's not necessarily hindered by, the PlayStation, but also takes benefits from it. So I think that's where VR is headed. And I don't know if the tech is 110% there, but if you're Jim Ryan, what you want to do right now is make sure everyone is focused on the one product you're selling. That's PlayStation 5. So when he's like, it's not this year, obviously, definitely not next year, maybe the year after, I could see that they could start turning that up. But yeah, probably in the next 2 to 3 years, we'll probably see another iteration of PSVR because it was a bit of a success for them, and hopefully it's not a connected experience. So to me, I'm not disappointed. I knew this. I kind of not knew this. I had this feeling going into it that this would be the case, and I kind of hope it is the case. Make sure you get the tech 100% right. It looks like PSVR still, people are devs are still supporting it in big ways. So as long as that support stays there and that ecosystem is intact when the next iteration comes out, I think we're going to be in a really good space. And I think what Big Cloud said is, it is about the haptic feedback. Everybody is talking about how like this is the next gen feature. This isn't a gimmick. Like I saw Paris post a video of just like, this is next gen.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I think they want to make sure they perfect that technology when making that VR. Because if that's in VR and then you get that Tempest sound as well, hopefully that's also a banger. Then yeah, like the sky's the limit for VR. I'm a big proponent of it. I want it to do well. There's so much you can do in that space, and I just want to play Half-Life Alex. I just don't want to buy a $700 headset for it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not.
imagine,
I don't have
oh, sorry.
Not again. What were you gonna say?
Oh, no, I was ready to say, imagine like those horror games, Joe. Like with
Yes.
haptic feedback, you creeping around the corners, you feel the creaks as you
Mhm.
go around through the controller. Like that would be a new way of immersion in the
Yeah.
actual game. Especially when we get into Resident Evil. I know Boom played Resident Evil, right? The
Yes.
VR version. Now imagine you play Village or the next Village on that.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm looking forward to? I didn't pick it up for the PlayStation. I'm probably waiting for a sale because I didn't want to pay full price for both. But I've been playing Star Wars Squadrons, and I know that for PlayStation VR, you got the ability to play the whole entire game on there. So once that goes on sale, I will be taking advantage of the PlayStation 5 hardware and seeing if that game hopefully did get some sort of an upgrade from the hardware. But the actual device should be able to run. It should run better and faster with the PlayStation 5. So I'm going to be looking forward to doing that for sure. But yeah, a game like Resident Evil 7 on it's amazing. I know that have they confirmed a VR for 8?
Not yet. It's still a rumor.
Okay, so they have not confirmed it. Yeah, we have a story on RE8 because obviously this is a Halloween episode. But before we move on to the next topic, Slomo, I want to get your opinion on this. I don't know where you fall on VR. We've never actually had this conversation. Are you a VR kind of a guy, or is it technology you're just not interested in, or because you have a PC, that's where you get your VR? Because of course you could play something like Half-Life Alex, which is an amazing experience. For you, when you hear that Jim Ryan has already said he's kind of like let the gauntlet down, if you will, about VR 2.0 coming in the next couple of years. We know it's not happening, so we're thinking maybe 2022, potentially 2023. That's a little bit of a ways out, considering we've still got some months left in 2020. For me, I'm disappointed. I'm going to be honest with you, because I wanted the VR to make a move into next generation right alongside the PS5. That's not happening. Are you disappointed?
I'm not really disappointed because I've never actually experienced current gen VR. Like I played it, when you were a kid and you went to the amusement park and they had that huge, massive, bulky VR setup with the really terrible, like in Space Invaders game that just looked like it was just like, all right, this is interesting tech, but this ain't really for me. And it's like, that has always kind of like stayed with me, even into now where I see VR, that even though I know like the advancements are drastic from back then, it's still just like, I haven't seen anything yet that makes me want to go, oh, I definitely got to play that. Now, except for Half-Life Alex. Half-Life Alex, I do want to play because that is like a full-fledged AAA experience where a lot of the games that I initially saw from PSVR and Oculus and HTC Vive were almost like demos, like not quite full game experiences, but interesting VR experiences that seemed somewhat limited. And I was like, I don't really see the money investment and the payoff, and the flip side of that money investment is a great gaming experience yet. I think seeing things like VR, like Half-Life Alex, is taking it to the next level. Now we're getting on the same level as regular console and PC gaming. Now I can see where it's going. I still need to see a little bit more, because I'm sorry, that index, that's $1,000 to play one game. I think I'm gonna pass on that. I can use that $1,000 for a couple of consoles, maybe a new GPU, maybe a PSU with that GPU, something, right?
Unless all these companies got subscription services in their pockets, supposedly. Like, and Play shocked us.
Yeah, I think it's mass adoption for VR will happen when the technology reaches a certain point where it can be sold, and it's not sold at a loss, but it'll be at a more reasonable price. PlayStation is the most well adopted VR because of the cost. It's not like quality wise the better one out of the other competition, but cost wise is definitely puts it there because it's affordable. And I mean, when making it affordable means that more people get the opportunity to give it a shot. And for me, until I see more games out of it, I'm not really going to really jump on it. But I do think that we're going to see within another 2 or 3 years. I think Sony's really going to go all in on it because Facebook Gaming is definitely going all in on it. They're acquiring studios specifically for just VR, like Ready at Dawn. Ready at Dawn, since the Order 1886, has been basically doing VR games. They got their series, I think it's called Echo or something like that, where it's like 2 or 3 games that they've made for the Oculus. And Facebook was just like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and put a ring on it. And they went and acquired Ready at Dawn. Now Ready at Dawn is going to be an exclusive VR developer for Facebook and Oculus. And so Facebook's definitely putting all their chips in on that to get into that niche and to be the one-stop system for it. Now, I don't like the fact that Oculus and Facebook is trying to force people to make Facebook accounts to play.
That's kind of shitty. I got to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't like that because if you ever, I bet you didn't know this. If you delete your Facebook account, all of your games go right along with it.
That's ridiculous.
So that's not good. They've been getting a lot of negative feedback, and for good reason, for sure.
Yeah. I don't like things like that, but then I mean that also presents an opportunity for Sony to kind of like, you know, poke at a weakness that their competition has.
Yep.
I think them not having anything ready right now is, I see it no differently than Microsoft not having their first party games not ready right now. It sucks, but then I mean, what do you want? Do you want incomplete games at launch?
No, I'd rather just wait. I'd
Exactly.
rather just wait, and we know that they're coming. I mean, for God's sakes, they have 23 studios, so you know what I'm saying. It's only a matter of time before the games start to come out.
Right. And I see this no different. Like, let Sony, you know, let their VR games cook. The longer they take, the more likely I'm thinking these are going to be full-fledged AAA, big game experiences, things that will really, you know, entice me to give it a shot. And then at that point, maybe you got your PSVR 2.0 ready to go. It's more advanced. It's definitely taking more advantage of the PS5 and its hardware. Then, hey, you know, that's an experience that people may actually really jump in on, and not just say the 2 or 3 or 4 million that they got on PSVR right now. So I think that's something that, you know, like, waiting for it. I know we hate to hear that, you know, but waiting on great experiences is just unfortunately a part of the deal of being a gamer.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, there's a lot to play. I mean, obviously, if they would have boxed out PlayStation VR and we had nothing and we couldn't use the old hardware in the new console, I think that probably is what's saving them from racing to drop the PlayStation VR 2.0. The fact that they have allowed for the old hardware to be brought forward. Now, whether or not it's going to take advantage of the system, which I believe it should be able to use the power of the PS5 to help mitigate some of the loading issues that unfortunately were there for PlayStation VR, the original. So I think that could be one of the reasons why that they're not rushing, and that's fine. I mean, obviously there's a lot to play. Hopefully the games look better, that they take advantage of, again, the power. But you know, what I want to do is, before I move on to the next topic, I definitely want to talk about our favorite horror games. But let me just catch up on a few of the super chats that come in. First of all, Symphonic X Initiative drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, "I would like to see walking into a movie theater in VR, paying for your movie experience and sitting with your friends and family in the next Marvel film," or he says movie. That would be a big move for VR. Yeah, I would love to see that also, to be honest with you. I just don't know with COVID if we're ever. I gotta be honest with you, man. The more this COVID starts to wreak its ugly head, I don't want to say that movie theaters are dead, but man, I think that they're in big trouble. Like the experience you're talking about seems like something that we would get sitting on your couch, that you could potentially team up with a buddy or two to watch a movie. But
it's sad, man.
I mean,
like that is
Discord now, like to group up with people across the world now. I don't know if y'all do that. Like I stream it. Like I'll watch a movie like that.
That would
like,
be cool.
Yeah, like the movie. I don't know if y'all seen this movie. It's called The Invisible Man, the latest one.
Oh, that's a great film. That's
Dude,
one of Blumhouse's best. Let me tell you.
It was an incredible film. You gotta watch that, Joe. It's incredible. But what's funny about that film, though, and it's really unfortunate, I wanted to see the live reactions to that, honestly. Just like,
hearing the people screaming in the theater is always great. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like how quick do people notice like certain things, like him sitting in the chair, you just don't know he's there, or when he was like moving her binder and people didn't see it, like in the corner, like that type of stuff.
Yeah,
but it was it's crazy. And now Disney Plus with Disney tried to be shady with the whole thing. They wanted like $50 just for you to see Mulan.
Yeah, it was $30. It wasn't 50, it was 30. I bought it. I'm not gonna front. I bought it. My wife and I are big fans of that era of the world. Mulan, we loved as an animated. We love the film. We've seen it twice already. Yeah. I don't feel like I was ripped off. I got to be honest with you. I was hoping that Black Widow would come in the same format, because I'm tired of waiting, to be honest with you. But they are just really digging their heels in the sand with that, and it looks like Wonder Woman the 1980 84 is going to be again. They're holding out, hoping that we get a hold of COVID. Dude, I don't think it's happening.
These damn theaters are going to be closed. Just let them loose, let them go out. I mean, it's as simple as that.
It's just, and it really comes down to like Disney just talked about. I think like what whoever just wrote in was onto something of like, VR is a perfect place. I just don't think they got to there fast enough, because like Disney now is like, we got to pivot to Disney Plus. Like this has to be, we got to pivot to streaming. And what that means for the movie industry is like AMC, like Regal's already filing bankruptcy, all the big ones. AMC's like, dude, by the end of the year we're out. I think they're the next industry that needs that bailout, that stimulus, or else they're dead.
Streaming service with VR support, that's would have been perfect for them. Like a streaming service, VR support. You watch the movies, or you can pay outright, have them. You can watch them wherever else, but you can watch them in that cinematic feel. Just have a VR headset. It'll imitate, you being at the theater. The theater was shut down like you normally would do, and you can watch the movie, and you can watch it with friends. That'd be cool. But VR hasn't really jumped up in tech like that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it again, I'm going to be honest with you. Mrs. Boomstick and I, we are film buffs. We love series, we love movies. We it's our thing over the weekend. That's why normally I don't do like podcasting on the weekend, because it's her time. I do enough, with the community, that I still have to make time for home. And I would like to play a game every now and again. That would be kind of cool. But you know what? Let me just thank Fanatical Gamer 2. He did something really cool. Besides dropping an outstanding and very generous $5 super chat, he dropped a Star Wars Squadrons code for the Xbox right into the super chat. So listen, if you won that from him, throw your name up there. You don't got to throw a super chat. Just say, put it in the chat, and I'll read it who won. Hey, thank you so much, Fanatical Gamer 2. That is cool. Very, very generous of you. We also have another super chat that came in. Let me see if I can find it, or hopefully this chat allows me to find it. Here it is. Okay, here we go. We had, Tommy Hatcher. Tommy, thank you so much for being here, but also thank you for your generosity. He drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, does having a PlayStation 5 Pregnant Edition and the Xbox Series X give me enough clout to have breakfast with me? Listen, dude, you're here. You can have breakfast with me anytime. He says also Xbox VR announcement 11/9. That would be pretty epic. I don't know if it's going to happen. Let's welcome to the program Crispy Bomb. Hey, dude, what's up, man?
What is fired? Up? I pulled. Yeah. How about the guy that doesn't show up half the time? All right.
Nah, that's all right, dude. Shit happens, bro.
We all do this once in a while. It's part of a morning show. You know what I mean? You game a little too much the night before, and He just forgot.
And
to
that
set
just
that
that just happens. That just listen, dude. We're happy to have you,
roll
brother.
my entire schedule like that, where late nights are rogue, just gaming nonstop. And I look at the time. Oh, it's 3:00 in the morning. Crap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Listen, I wanted to play. I had loaded up, ready to go, and like an old man, I went to bed before 10. God damn it! What happened to the good old days, man? But anyway, let's get into one of the, obviously this is being the Halloween episode. I want to talk about our favorite terrifying games that made you not want to play in the dark with headphones. Yeah, well, that's definitely one of them. But for me, the one of the first games that came to mind, and I don't think a lot of people remember this game. And it was a launch title with the Xbox 360. It was called Condemned: Criminal Origins. That's a good one, man. That's a good one to be scared. And I got news for you. There is a particular level in a department store where, and listen, folks, I'm not even effing lying here. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it because my God, that was one of those scary parts. You walk into the mall, and there are mannequins all over the place. Horror or me immediately, but then you start to see one moves, like something like the noise. They did it so well where a noise. You turned the flashlight, and when you came back, there was 3 there. Now there's only 2 mannequins. You're like, oh shit. There's a mannequin running around. Turns out there was more than one. There was a boatload of mannequins running around. And that's when the shotty comes out, because anything gets close gets blasted. And that's exactly what happened. And that's a really good one. The second one that I have to talk about, and again, happens to do with VR, as a matter of fact. It was a demo for Resident Evil 7 called The Kitchen. And it was if you remember the demo of the reporter, it actually takes place right after that, and it just goes to show you, like, if it's VR is done right, it can induce you into moving with what you're seeing. So I was sitting on my couch, and there's a particular part where something, I'm not going to say what it is if you missed out on this, comes rolling out. I lifted up my feet like it was it was going to hit my legs. That's how into it. And of course you died because the thing comes behind you, and I knew it. I felt it, even through VR, I felt it on my shoulders, and it murdered me, and it wasn't a good thing. Let me go to I'll go to a Big Cloud first. For you, what jumps off the page as your favorite scary game?
Oh man, we're going back to PlayStation 3 and 360, sir.
Nice.
Dead Space.
Oh, that's a good one, dude.
That was the game that scared the hell out of me. And what's funny about it, when they got into Dead Space 2, I was already an Insta fan, but they got me with that too. But another one, and it came out for this generation, and I think it did come out for PS3 and 360 as well. And it's very underrated in my eyes. I think it's underrated because of the sales of it. But Alien Isolation.
Oh, dude, great. That's a great pick. Great pick.
They made the Alien scary again, and I applaud that game for doing that. That is how the Alien should be. It shouldn't be this threat that you can just shoot at and be over. No, this thing was constantly moving, and they even threw in face huggers.
Yeah.
perfect game.
Those are 2 fantastic picks, and you're right. Alien Isolation. I never beat that game. I got halfway through. The game was very long. Like, it was extremely long. I wish it could have been a shorter experience because there was so much hiding and so much terror. I don't know if a human being is supposed to endure that much in a game. I would love to see that game brought to VR. That game in VR would be pants pooping, and without a doubt, no doubt about that. And you never know. That could come back at some point in VR. I mean, why not? I mean, the game is a fantastic title, but it would be horrifying to have that thing, literally, that alien. Like, there's sometimes when you're in the locker and you know that it's looking for you.
Yeah, like you have to lean back, and if you looking at you, he'll notice you. Like, you'll hear the tracker. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, those are 2 fantastic picks. Joe, let's go to you, brother. I don't know how many scary games you play, because obviously we know Zemi only plays scary games with Mr. Boomstick XL, and he gets mad when I leave him, which I'm going to do today, by the way. Just to terrify him. Don't tell him. What picks are for you?
110%. I'm right there with you. Dead Space 1 and 2 are they're up there, like they're tied. like they're different type of horror, but they both do it so well. Where like to me, it is like Alien 1, type of scares meets Aliens, where like they're two totally different. One's more action than horror, and one's definitely horror, but they're both equally so fucking good. So Dead Space 1 and 2 are magnifique. Resident Evil 2 remake, I never got to play those as a kid because they scared the shit. I was like 9 at the time, so I wasn't allowed. But at the same exact time, there is a game that I do feel like has, and this was a question on the trophy room, and I couldn't think of it at the time, so I'm saying it here. There's some games that aren't horror but have those elements sprinkled in. BioShock has that.
Yeah, indeed.
Like
that's
Rapture has that. There are elements of Rapture, like when you're fighting, when you're in that one room and like there's just the spotlight and all they're like coming out of the shadows to like with wrenches to beat the shit out of you. That messed me up. And there's just they set this horrifying, like, just underwater, there's no escape, really, really well. That game is so freaking good. But it is weird because like I'm usually not into horror when it comes to movies, but if it's games, if I have a gun on me, I'll play you. Like that's what the rule is. I have to have some form of security with me that involves like at least a shotgun or a plasma cutter.
Shotty is always great, especially in corridors, because you if something is in front of you, you're definitely going to kill him.
You're like, yeah, and the thing too about Dead Space is the one necromorph that doesn't die.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh god, and you have to solve that puzzle. So like super, oh dude, it really messed me up.
It's almost a travesty of gaming justice.
Cycles regenerator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that guy, dude.
It's almost a travesty of gaming justice that we don't have a sequel.
Part 2, but didn't he sacrifice himself in the first one? Like he stood in front of like the I forgot what they're called, the little flying one that like transforms you into a necromorph, the little flying thing.
I forget how you get rid of him in the first one.
No,
I know
you guy who made him, the creator of Psycho, the religious guy who thought it was like a religion to kill all the humans. Yeah, I think he killed himself.
Yeah, he sacrifices himself. Yeah, fucking what a weird series, man.
And
that's the game that you had to put the needle in the eye, right? If I
Dead Space 2's that one. Yeah,
that was
2. It was that one.
Yeah, the needle in the eye is always another creepy thing. Well, let's get Slow-Mo's opinion on this, but let me just catch up on 2 of the super chats. We have actually, it's funny. We have Nuisance, who drops a very generous $2 super chat and says Outlast was crazy. Outlast is a really good pick. That actually is one. It was. I should have actually talked about that one. Outlast is terrifying. Outlast 2 was more cultish. Outlast 1 was absolutely you're in an insane asylum. But Slomo, what do you got for your favorite horror game?
Oh man, look, horror games are not my jam. I don't understand you guys that like to get like your blood pressure to go up, to get all scared and jump scares and stuff. I'm sorry, I may be ready to punch my TV, punch my monitors, something jump out at me. Now, typically, I'm kind of like, I kind of shy away from it. And for me, I mean, like, I think the very first one I ever played was Resident Evil 1, right? And the very first time, like, I was cool with the game, didn't really, care for the controls like that. But back then, you understood. Everyone was like, hey, this nice 3D environment, it don't move or nothing, but hey, it's great. Then you go into that one hallway, and I'm just walking down the hallway, and the dogs jump out the window, and I was like, I mean, literally, controller went flying in the air. I was like, you know what? I'm good. I don't need to play this. I'm that good anyway. You know how you start making excuses for why you got scared. You don't want to play it. Ever since then, I've been kind of like, I don't really mess with these like that. So I would say, and this is probably like compared to the other games, really, really like light. But I thought Until Dawn was pretty cool. And
what's funny? I was actually I swear to goodness, I was just gonna say that the 2 PlayStation dudes didn't say Until Dawn. Until Dawn is probably some of the if you look at that game, it is it's incredible. It is absolutely incredible what Massive was able to do. That game is probably still one of the best looking PlayStation 4 games
That's
to
usually one
date.
of their top tier games they've done for sure.
Oh,
I just
without a doubt.
Me and Bad Bit, we've had the horror of the Man in Medan, which was very mediocre. He kind of just like really,
yeah, it wasn't really that scary. The Little Hope that we're gonna be playing today, that looks terrifying.
Yeah, I'm definitely playing a Little Hope. I'm a big fan of Supermassive in general. I think their games they're very much like horror, but then also they got that Telltale format. But they usually are much better, like better visually, better than Telltale was. Not quite as good as say like Quantic Dream when it comes to visuals, but I think their storytelling is better than Quantic Dream in my opinion. But I thought Until Dawn was done really well. I really enjoyed the characters and just your ability to like your choices really matter. Where like you could have everyone survive or you could have everyone die. It's really all kind of
Until Dawn, especially like certain scenes, like like when you get to the watchtower and you find the flare. You can choose to shoot the flare or keep it, and you find out how
it's better to keep it. It's much better to keep it. Yeah.
I shot that thing early. I was okay. Maybe that's just the way to do it. You shoot the flare. All of a sudden, like you fast forward like 2 or 3 scenes later, he gets impaled in the chin by this damn what's the name? Like, wow, I didn't have the flare.
The Wendigo. Yeah, if you would have kept the flare, you could have shot the flare and like blinded the Wendigo and got away. It's just like, darn it, that but it's like those kind of things that you learn in the game that like. It's a game that's designed for multiple playthroughs.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
The Leatherface looking guy. Yeah, I remember the guy in the little clown like mask. You find out who it really is. It's like a joke.
Yeah. And it's like it's set up so well because if you pay attention and you really explore in the lodge, the house, you pretty much can figure out what's happening before the big reveal. Like it's almost after like multiple playthroughs. It's like it's so obvious, but on your first playthrough, you're just like, what's happening here?
They had to throw a generic scary civilian in here to explain the origin.
I am going to say this: a lot of people putting in the chat Five Nights at Freddy. That's a good one.
I believe y'all are talking about Until Dawn. I don't mess with that. I need a gun.
there's listen, you're gonna get murdered in that game.
You get guns in Until Dawn. It's just that against the Wendigos, they're completely pointless.
Pretty much, yeah, absolutely.
God, scary.
Real quick, we actually have 2 people that jumped in here. We have Crispy Bomb that got in here, and we also have Dreadpool came in here. Oh, this is great. So welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. Crispy Bomb, you were here a few minutes ago, and of course, Dreadpool, you are here now, and that's great because we get to get your opinion on your favorite scary game. Crispy Bomb, let's go to you first, brother. For you, what jumps off the page as one of your favorite scary games?
So I got a few, and my apologies, when it rains, it pours, and my router just decided, hey, time for me to get reset. So
I get it.
Yeah, but we got Left 4 Dead 2. Definitely not that scary until you get to the mall part. Pretty incredible on that part. And if you're playing on one of the higher difficulties, it is one hell of a time trying to get through that. And you are just constantly like, where's it coming from? Oh no. Like it's pretty wild. Even going back further, definitely at the beginning of my gaming experiences, Resident Evil 2 was definitely pretty crazy. For me as a younger gamer, definitely those things that go bump in the night got to your head. And sometimes you just are like, no, I'm not doing this right now. And you had to shut it off. So that was always fun for me. And then I know a lot of people, you can become a god in Dying Light, but go out at night at the beginning and tell me you ain't running for your life, bro.
Oh, dude, I never went on. I nope.
What a great pick. Because the first time in Dying Light where it turns night, I noped the fuck out so fast. When they're once their eyes turn red and like I'm hearing them all around, I'm like, all right, enough of this game. It was fun while it lasted.
I'll tell you a quick story. So I was always going on that bridge to like loot it. Yeah. So I got caught out there at night, bro. and all of them just come out like they just randomly start appearing. So I'm sitting on the edge of the bridge, just trying to sit there and wait for the daylight to come, because there's no way I can't jump down because I'll die, and there's no way I'm gonna do all that parkour stuff with not one of these things. These things could jump, God knows high.
Yeah.
And they run at you so fast. So I'm just literally just sitting there like, okay, well, I could see where they're looking and everything. No, I just moved this tiny little bit. All of them just come at me. I'm like, I'm jumping into the water, baby. Nope, you don't survive. I'm telling you, you can't jump from that high. So that got me. That game was fun, especially, once you become a god, it's even funner for a little while, and then it gets boring. But at the beginning, dude, at night, oh man, that game is crazy.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one for sure. Dreadful, before we get to you, brother, let me just catch up on some of these outstanding super chats that have come in, and we'll get your opinion on this. Effing Nuisance, good friend of the show. He drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, "Hey, Boom and panel and chat. Sorry, I've been missing your live shows lately due to work, but wanted to let you know that you are killing it. Can't wait to watch later. P.S. Don't forget to hit that like button." Oh, dude, thank you so much for the extremely kind words. And of course, thank you for your generosity as always. Hopefully you will enjoy the show. We also have Reggie Mobile 9, a very generous friend of the show. He drops an outstanding $5 super chat, and he says, "Condemned was one of my favorite games of all time. I was on the edge the entire game, and I loved it. Great show, family." Thank you so much for being here, Reggie. Definitely appreciate the generosity. We also have a few other super chats that just came in, and let me just get to those. We have quite a few of them, as a matter of fact. Thank you so much for being generous. We have Yodega drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Fear, Alan Wake, and Evil Within, all fan-freaking-tastic picks. I did not really enjoy Evil Within 1. Loved Evil Within 2 because it was a little bit more action. I love that. Symphonic X Initiative drops an additional, wow, dude, another $10 super chat and says, "There was a game called D. Can't remember if it was on the PlayStation 1 or Sega Genesis. Walking sim. Now I think of it, but the sound and music, my dad's giant cherry wood speakers scared the crap out of us." Yeah, but those it's funny. You talk about this goes to show you that when I was a kid, when you first get a car, this is an embarrassing story, but I have to tell it because he said those big cherry speakers. My brother Neo Mental and I, we were growing up. You get your first car. It doesn't have big speakers, whatever. Don't you know that we took, this is ghetto, bro. This is unbelievable. We took his dad's speakers, the big cherry wood speakers, and put them in the back of the car. And hooked them up, and we were like, "Yeah, look, we are macking.
We're so cool."
Yeah, and we could barely hear them, but the bass was dope. We have a one from Game Over, drops a very generous $3 super chat, says, "Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Fire Demon, terrifying." You know what? Let me tell you something. A lot of people missed out on playing Hellblade with headphones, and I gotta tell you, hats off to Ninja Theory, because not only did it make you immerse you in the game even further, it really did make you understand what someone with mental illness, especially that form of mental illness, might actually be hearing. And the voices in your head, literally in your head, because it would be in your left ear and your right ear, they're both different, and they're both talking to you at the same time. It was absolutely incredible, and I'm hoping that continues with the second one. Jesse Darby, another generous friend of the show, he drops an outstanding $2 super chat, says, "Good morning, Boom, Joe, Slow-Mo, and other guys." Well, thank you so much. Super appreciate it. Hey, man, we got a new channel member and good friend of the show. He's been here for quite a while. D-Block becomes a channel member. Thank you so much for that. We also have Viper XT with the outstanding $5 super chat. Thank you, Viper, for being here. He says, "My creepy game picks are Blair Witch, which was fantastic, Dying Light, and a small indie game called The Park." The Park was terrifying. It is a bit of a walking sim, but my God, that is a fantastic pick. I got all of the achievements on that one. The Park is a great pick. We have P155 3D1 drops an outstanding $2 super chat says Haunted House Atari 2600. My God, dude, that is going way back. Scariest game ever. Yeah, especially if you're a kid. And a good friend of the show, you know him from Primetime Gaming. Tempest Sun drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, love you, man. Have a good weekend, everybody. Well, thank you so much, dude. And we love you too. So, Dreadpool, you are doing something really cool. You've been donating your time for a haunted house. So I'm sure that this topic is going to be right up your alley. What is for you your favorite scary game of all time?
Luigi's Mansion. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, if you played it in the dark with headphones, it might be scary.
Yeah, it's scary how much he screams. Woo, 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 ah. So I've got a lot of them. My apologies. I did kind of oversleep. My wife,
dude, don't even sweat it, brother. That's
she came home and she's like, "Aren't you doing your show?" And I'm like, "Oh, you can't."
We held it down. We did a good job, and Slow-Mo jumped in on the back end, so we are okay, brother. But we're happy to have you here, dude.
So, as Crispy mentioned, Dying Light, that was a cool game. These games really don't scare me. You know what I mean? I don't get that heart palpitation or any of that stuff. There's a few of them that are there, and there's a few of them that have a special meaning to me. Okay, so Alien Isolation was one of those that was like, all right, you got to be quiet. You kind of have to, you felt like you were in there, and then I just lost it. It just got boring. You know what I mean? The premise was there, so I loved it. I loved the idea. I just could not immerse myself in there. And I don't remember if anybody else knows. I know old school cats should know this. MDK.
Yes.
That was a cool game. And then I mentioned this on Gaming Beyond the Box when we were talking about it, and I couldn't remember. And one of the chat members actually posted the name. Remember Grandma's Boy?
Yeah.
The movie?
Mm-hmm.
The game that was in there.
Sandal films for sure.
The game that was in there was called Demonic. That was an actual game in production.
Sure, it was, dude. Yes.
I for somehow I don't know how people forgot, or if it was just people that weren't involved in that time frame when gaming to know about this. So when I mentioned it, I'm like, that was a game that was in development, just development cut short, and they canceled it. And people were like, that was a real game? Yes, it was. So I blew their minds. But the two favorite games of all time, okay, one of them's kind of because it's a humorous thing to me. My wife, and I've said this story before, my wife was playing Dead Island. I was at work. She was pregnant. And she's like, the house or the TV is haunted. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I think the Xbox is haunted. And I was like, what are you talking about? So I had to come home. I come home and there's blankets across the entertainment center. Even the Kinect had blanket on it. Okay.
That is great.
So she sat down and she explains to me, because I'm like, you got to tell me what's going on, because does not make sense. So we go break it down, and I'm like, all right, take all the the blankets off. So I go look, I turn on the game. I'm like, this is the game you were playing? She's like, yes. So I look and I start laughing away. She had online open for anybody to just jump in. So apparently this little kid jumped into her game and was telling her to follow her, and that he was right behind her. So, and she's like looking around like, what do you like? Are you talking to me? Like, like, is this NPC interacting with me or something? And she's hearing
that is
somebody saying, I'm right behind you. Turn around and look. And she's looking like, who's behind me?
That's great. Oh my God. It's funny that something like that could someone that's not a gamer would not understand it. Somebody who jumped into that game. That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, that's the funny part. Okay, so now the one that actually gives me those hard WTFs and heart palpitations when it pops out is Alma. Do you remember Fear?
Yes, Fear is
Fear is always my number one game when it comes.
That little girl could go straight to hell. I hate her so much.
See what I'm saying? When you see, like the first time you play it, you like, what just happened here? You know, like you go back and you're like trying to re-trigger that event to happen, and it doesn't. And it's like, did I see what I saw? What was going on? You know, and then you get into the game, and it's like she messes with you so hardcore. So yeah, I love it, and I hope they remake Fear from the ground up.
That'd be great.
You know, let's be honest. The mechanics are kind of, you know, old school wonky. You know, you're running with your knees up to your chest. Not, you know, it's not as realistic anymore as it was back then, but I still love that game.
Yeah, you know what? I got to be honest with you. You know, I know that people like, well, you know, we want new games, but you know, there are certain series that deserve a rebirth, and I don't necessarily mean that they should make the game from the ground up. Sure, that would be great. I'd love to see Fear done in 120 frames per second. You know, with
Xbox exclusive. Dude, like with the no load times, and you're just like just kind of like with the medium, where you're entering like dualities of planes of existence and shit.
Yeah, it would be awesome. But I gotta be honest with you, because I don't think any of that is ever going to happen. I would be perfectly okay with having those games come out in an HD, you know, trilogy kind of a thing. Like Dead Space, I was saying it before, it's almost a travesty of gaming justice that not only does the series no longer exist to EA, the fact that they're sitting on that IP and literally doing nothing with it. Like, I remember playing that particular game and like creeping around the corner because you knew you couldn't save until you got to, you know, there was certain save points and you know that you had gotten far enough. You're like, I would literally crawl around a corner because I'm like, I know one of these things are going to be there. And sure enough, every time it was there. That's a series that deserves it. Fear is another series that deserves it. Condemned is another series. I would play all of those games in HD remakes. I would pay full boat for them and enjoy them as much as I did originally. It's almost a shame. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but if anyone's listening and can somehow make that happen, that would be kind of dope. Let me catch up a few of the super chats. So you have anything that you want to add there, Dreadpool?
I was going to say I got a couple honorable mentions that I really, truly, if I could wish upon a star, this is the series that I want to have come back. Okay. Legacy of Kain and Soul Reaver.
Oh, great picks, dude.
Those are the ones, like you said, for a remaster, you know, whatever, remake, remaster, whatever, from the ground up. It's such a long time ago that they deserve better controls. And even back then, those were like superb games. And, you know, they're not scary, but they fit in with Halloween.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, listen, they're vampires. Sure, it absolutely works, and those would be fantastic to see redone with new controls. It really would be absolutely fantastic. Those games were epic, and a lot of people missed out on those for sure.
And the best version of Soul Reaver was on the Dreamcast. Even PC didn't get the upgrade.
Yeah,
from them. It was actually Dreamcast that got the best rendition of it.
Go figure. Those are fantastic picks there, Dread, for sure. Let me catch up with some super chats and we'll get into the Resident Evil 8 The Village topic. And I know that Crispy Bomb is going to be looking forward to hearing that, and the BitCloud as well, because I know that they're big Resident Evil fans. Sikyo Yumi drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Xbox Series X value equals insane. $80 less than the RX 6800 within. Yikes. That's pretty. Listen, I think that what you're getting with these consoles is nothing short of, because they could have easily been $600. There's no doubt in my mind how they kept them under $5 is crazy. $4.99. Again, I know it's a penny, but it's still under $500, and that's ridiculous. Rain G4, a generous friend of the show, he drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says NES was a killer console. blowing the cartridges can literally put away. Yeah, I remember those days. Those were annoying for sure. Midway 7 Monster drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I could do horror movies. I can't do horror games. I'm not moving forward. I want to get the hell out of there. Yeah, I hear you, brother. Definitely there. But let's talk Resident Evil. Obviously, it's fitting, right? This is the Halloween episode. We haven't heard a lot about what Capcom is doing with Resident Evil 8. We've seen some werewolves, we've seen some other BOWs. Now, again, we don't know if they're made. We don't know if it's part of a new lore that they're going to potentially invest in. But we know werewolves are real. We know that they're coming. But one of the biggest questions has been Chris Redfield. And listen, I'll say this. I'm a big Chris fan. I don't necessarily know what's happening. And obviously I'm one of the biggest RE fans for sure. Resident Evil 8, The Village is set to release sometime next year. For me, I think it's going to be, and I'm banking on the first quarter of 2021. They've done that 2 times. They released Resident Evil 7 in January of 2017, and then Resident Evil 2 just missed the first quarter, coming out. I believe it was in April, if I'm not mistaken. So they like the first 3 or 4 months of the year for their Resident Evil titles. I'm expecting RE8 The Village to hit around that. I'd like to see it in January. It'd be one of the biggest games for me of the year for sure. But the Resident Evil 8 trailer first was revealed at PlayStation 5's event several months ago. And towards the end of the announcement trailer, Ethan, who was, of course, the protagonist from RE7, questioned Chris's presence and was shocked when he shot somebody point blank. Basically, they were setting up Chris to be the bad guy, which I cannot believe that is going to be the fact. But it turns out that person that he shot may be Ethan's wife, Mia Winters. And Capcom producers recently sat down in an interview and teased Chris's role for RE8. And here's everything that they had to say and revealed so far in an interview with the world famous Japanese magazine known as Famitsu. And this is what they actually, let me get up to exactly what they had to say. They said, instead of intentionally bringing Chris, not explaining what happened and how he got there, they do talk about how Chris actually, after Resident Evil 7, Not a Hero, the DLC, he actually has, I don't know if he kidnapped him or just straight up took him, Ethan, from the Baker Mansion and brought him to this area where they're currently at. So I don't necessarily know what is going on. I can tell you that the way that they have pictured this is Chris is going to be the antagonist. I don't know if that's true. I'm going to be pissed if it is. For sure. Let's get your opinion on this, BitCloud. You are, like me, one of the biggest Resident Evil fans. We don't have much to go on. We've seen a couple of trailers. The game looks really good. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. But what are your thoughts on how they are painting Chris as a character?
Well, didn't you play as Chris in Resident Evil 7 as a side character?
It's called Not a Hero. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't get to play that, but I'm guessing you clear out the rest of the house, right? All the infected. Yeah. So more likely he's probably infected and he's being mind controlled to bring them back to the mansion, maybe.
But possible, yeah,
that might be the case of it, because you guys remember his girlfriend had those mood swing type of reactions where she turns into the mom, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's that type of thing where it's the family trying to come back at him, only instead of being the mom, it's actually the dad, trying to get back at him, even though he died, so to speak, in the game. So that might be what's going on there.
But what if it's a fake out kind of thing?
That's what I'm thinking too.
Trailer, it's oh no, Chris is the bad guy, and you play the game, and it's it appears that way, but you don't know the full story. Yeah, and then next it's no, he's really doing the right thing, but you didn't know that at the time, nor would you know that from just a trailer that only tells you part of the story. So yeah, I think it's Chris Redfield. They're not going to turn Chris Redfield into a bad guy.
Leon in this style.
That's a good question. Listen, if you're a Resident Evil fan, there's a lot to get excited about. First of all, the cast of the film is amazing. And we know we're getting all of the mainstay characters. It's not going to be like the horrific set of films with Milla that basically just ruined they were just actually.
Yeah, they're going to expand upon it now because Netflix is also coming out with
they have the anime coming out, which looks crazy good.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
that
that's
looks
great too.
Yeah, the trailer was absolutely amazing. Slow-mo, let's bring you to the conversation. For you, is Resident Evil 8, I know that you don't like, terror and horror, but it's Resident Evil. Are you going to be down with RE8, The Village, when it releases next year?
No, I'm not. Look, I respect the Resident Evil franchise. I think it's one of the long-running classic, can't be touched franchises in gaming. It's been around since the PlayStation 1 era.
Yep.
It's never going to go anywhere. I kind of like it. I like the Resident Evil games that most people don't like. Like, I like the Resident Evil 3 remake. I'm like, man, they gave me so much ammo.
I think I played it five or six times so far, dude. I love it.
I mean, the voice acting was awesome. The character models were great. It ran extremely well on my PC build. They gave me all kinds of ammo. That's what I love. Like, give me all the ammo so that I don't run out and I'm not running around some hospital being chased by things that I can't describe in no way to defend myself with a pocket knife. No, that's not me. I don't like that. Like Resident Evil 2, I tried it. I was like, yo, where the ammo at? You want me to go under this little grate with no ammo? Nah, I'm good. I just can't do it. But but this one, this is what I thought, and I wonder if you guys agree with me about it. I thought with Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake, I mean, the RE engine's amazing. But then when I saw Resident Evil Village, I didn't really, I mean, I don't know what it was running off of, but it didn't seem to be visually the same level as those two previous games to me. Maybe it's being done by a different team, but visually, I didn't think it was as good as what I had seen with Resident Evil 3 remake. I mean, what about you guys? You guys feel the same way?
I mean, I will say this. I think that Resident Evil 2 is a masterpiece. And that was done by the mainstay Resident Evil team. The team that did RE3 was different.
Right.
One of their smaller teams. Resident Evil 7 is still a technical masterpiece. I'm going to be honest with you. After seeing 8, a lot of people, including myself, were like, wow, it didn't look as impressive as maybe because it didn't show well. I don't know. I'm hoping that it does.
It's also not finished, so I'm not trying to fully judge it visually when it's not finished yet. But then it's still, I was kind of shocked that it didn't look to the same level as those other games.
It looked weird a little bit.
Yeah. Like they didn't do because if you look into like motion capture and performance capture, there's a difference. Like motion capture is it's just mocap is there's your typical mocap where everyone seems to be able to get that and it looks good for the most part, but then some of the facial animations can look a little weird, a little unrealistic. And then there's performance capture where it can really mimic what real movement looks like, and it's on a higher level, also more expensive. But I don't know what they're doing with Resident Evil Village, if it's performance capture for some of these character models or not, but it did seem like not at the same level as what I saw with at least with Resident Evil 3 remake. Although I don't say it looks bad, but also some of those environments, if you think about where it took place in Resident Evil 2 and 3, it was kind of like easier to render. It's not open world environments
as opposed to
exactly
seeming to be more open. Sure,
right. So maybe with that additional memory usage and limits to what the engine might be able to do, you're going to see way more detail in like a street corner or one particular street that's just decimated, full of zombies, and not too many things going on versus an entire open environment with a mountain in the background and draw distance and all that other stuff that you got to take into account for. So maybe that's what the issue is, and maybe like they're kind of struggling with the memory there, and maybe dealing with the fact that this has to scale down to it is going to be on current gen consoles, right?
I believe originally it wasn't. Yes, I believe it's going to be on both the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and then of course it's going to be optimized and running the best on the PlayStation 5 and Series X and S, because it's going to have no bottleneck issues, which again, could be, I don't know where they were showing it. I don't know if what we saw was next gen. It could have technically been on a PlayStation 4. It could potentially be on a Pro, and it could have been on an X. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's just by the sheer fact that they had to design it for the current gen consoles means that the game had to be designed around Jaguar, old as dirt Jaguar CPUs too.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's a drawback to it as well. It might be part of the reason why even though they're being more ambitious with the environment in the world, there's only so much they can do,
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and it's going to be interesting to see. Like I said, I'll put it this way: if it would have been releasing on regular consoles and I had to wait for the new ones, that's a game I would have waited for the new consoles, because I don't want loading times. I want the best graphics possible. I want the best frame rate because it's in first person. Definitely want a good, high, strong frame rate that doesn't dip, and hopefully we can get for at least 4K 60, potentially even higher on the FPS, which would be really dope. And it really put that. I mean, but that's the kind of a game that you want it to run good, but you also want it to look good as well. So I wouldn't mind keeping 60 FPS, solid 60 FPS, and then having everything in 4K, so those werewolves would look really, really good, potentially scary. Joe, how many copies of RE8 The Village are you buying?
Just one from a PlayStation.
Excellent.
I don't know too much of like the lore or like Chris Redfield or anything. I'm very new to the series. Like my first Resident Evil game was 7. Really enjoyed it up until the end, where it got more actiony than anything. Which I feel like is always like kind of the case with horror games. Now thinking about it. But that said, loved RE7, loved RE2, and enjoyed RE3 a lot. So I'm definitely getting this game, and I'm in for the ride. But the interesting thing for me is, like, I don't know, like, Chris Redfield. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know most of the cast of characters in Resident Evil. I'm here for the scares, and I'm here for, like, the weird-ass werewolves and other, like, just the weird atmospheric horror that they're kind of building with this one. So I love that it's in the winter. And it's giving me like all spooky vibes. So I'm definitely down for this game, man. I can't wait what to see. I'm a blank canvas. I just can't wait to see the story, kind of unfold for me. I'm an easy lay. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, listen, there's nothing wrong with you enjoying what you're doing. For me personally, I'm actually glad that it's in the winter as well. It's my favorite time of year. I love the cold. I love snow. I love blizzards. It's in my blood. Unfortunately, here in New York, at least where we are, we haven't been getting as much snow. I'm a little disappointed. I almost want to move. Eventually, we want to move upstate, like upstate, where we always get snow. I want that kind of life, especially and surprisingly, you only want that when you're younger. I'm getting older. I want it. So hopefully that happens in the next couple of years.
Who might be jealous right now because it's snowing in Connecticut? So
yes, I am jealous. I'm jealous right now for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm like my back. No, I don't want. I'll move to Florida.
No,
I never wanted
Florida. Florida's gross. I hate Florida.
I mean, that's true. No disrespect to anybody in Florida.
That's right. It's like, come on, man.
So many red lights. It's just the worst.
Let's get your opinion on this. Resident Evil 8. Obviously, it's one of the next big ones for Capcom. Resident Evil 7 literally saved the company. People don't understand how desperate and how close they were to filing Chapter 11 in Japan in 2016. And Resident Evil 7, even though a lot of people were on the fence, including myself, I was a little had some questionable thoughts and doubts about it being in first person, being where Resident Evil came from. It turns out it was my game of the year in 2017, and for good reason. For you, how excited are you to play the next entry? And is Chris potentially being the bad guy ruin anything for you?
It doesn't, because I guess maybe it was the movies or something just kind of turned me off. You know what I mean? Like it just, I played. I can't remember which one. I know I played 2. I didn't play 3. I believe I played 4 or 5. I can't remember. It's like one of those things. Like it just got convoluted for me. And now like with these next gen consoles, I'm almost like, well, I haven't touched the remakes. I haven't touched 7, and now 8's coming out. And one great thing is my girlfriend absolutely loves horror games, and this is definitely in the horror genre. So I mean, I'm just gonna wait and probably, just couch play with her, and
You
as we die,
you should. You could love him, man.
because she actually beat Blair Witch. I was surprised of that. So I'm like, oh, you actually like these games, because she's not gonna be going to play Gears with me or nothing. So you got to have one of those games that you could play with the significant other, and having all those there, that's gonna be pretty cool, because that's a lot of game time to be getting involved in, and they're definitely different in their own way. I'm a little confused on the werewolf thing. I don't really understand that. Are they like mutating into werewolves? I don't know about that. Redfield story, not too familiar with it. Like I said, I haven't touched these games in years upon years. So, it's one of those things. Like it's going to be interesting. I don't know what they're going at for that, but I mean, it looks like it's going to be a different experience. So that's what really matters. You gotta keep reinventing the wheel sometimes,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, listen, I think they're going to be doing some real incredible things. Werewolves, normally not the same BOWs that we're used to, but again, we don't know what they're going to do. Like right now, Chris is working for Blue Umbrella, which of course is not the original Umbrella, which are the antagonists. I don't know who Blue Umbrella is. I know that he doesn't trust them the same way he didn't trust Umbrella, but I think he's working in that organization to find out if there's any shenanigans going on. I don't know. I got to be honest with you. I get a lot of Resident Evil 4 vibes from the Village. I don't know, because it seems like that Eastern European, kind of a motif, if you will. So I don't know if we're going to see a return to any of those areas in RE4, which would be dope. I'm not going to front. I am looking forward to see what they do in regards to a remake. I'm almost positive they are currently in the process of remaking RE4. The same way they did RE2 and 3. That would not have been my go-to RE to remake. It would have been Code Veronica on the Dreamcast. I believe that, and I think most fans of the series will proudly admit that is one that not only amazing RE rendition, because it starred both Chris and his sister. Which was, it's never happened before, and it's only happened then, and that would be a great remake. That game was fantastic. Remember, that was a Dreamcast exclusive, so to have Claire and Chris at the same time in the same game was dope for sure. What I want to do is I want to catch up with some of the super chats, and I want to move on to the Spider-Man topic. You say, wait a second, Spider-Man? What does it have to do with Halloween? Well, they wear costumes, so I figured, what the H? We have Antoine Williams drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Zombie Ate My Neighbors needs an HD remake. Indeed, it does. That game was a Rare game that many people missed out on. Rare made that game, and it was fan-freaking-tastic. Viper XT shows his generosity once again and says, best horror game of 2020, Bug Snacks. Listen, we were talking about that, folks. I'm not going to front. I'm looking forward to playing that game. I'm not going to buy the game. Thankfully, we don't have to, because it's free in PlayStation Plus for the month of November. And obviously, if you are a PlayStation 5 owner, you will be able to download that game for free. And that's pretty dope. I gotta admit, that is pretty dope of Sony, because I don't know if anyone's going to pay $70 for that game. I don't think I would have, but I like the fact that I get a chance to play it. It's a little wacky, but I'm definitely going to give it a shot. So it could be a horror game in disguise. Who knows? Rain G4 drops a very generous $2 super chat, and he says, Resident Evil Code Veronica is my favorite. Indeed. You see, that's what I'm talking about. Everyone loves Code Veronica, especially that opening. And a very good friend of the show, Ice Cold, drops an outstanding and very generous $20 super chat. Wow, dude, thank you for that. Really appreciate it. He says, hey, Boom, good show as always. Can you ask BitCloud if the PlayStation 5 does have full RDNA 2? I'd like to hear his take on it. I don't know. I don't know if anyone really knows, because they have been very, very cagey of what RDNA. It has RDNA 2 elements. I don't know if it's the same as the Series X. BitCloud, could you answer that question potentially? Oh, he's muted. Maybe he stepped away for a second. I'll answer it the best I can. I don't know. I think that if they had the exact same RDNA 2 set up as Xbox because they're Sony, they would have shouted from the top of the mountains that was true. It's probably a hybrid. Now, that doesn't make it any worse. It just makes it different. Now, obviously, we are going to be able to tell later on what exactly that means. What does their version of RDNA 2 have that the Xbox doesn't? Do they do things better? Do they do things worse? I think we will get to those answers once places like Digital Foundry starts running these consoles through the mill. I don't want to. I'm certainly not going to sit here and say that at this point that it's that what they're running is RDNA 1.5. Because I'm not a technical guy, so I can't tell you that. I can tell you that I don't know what we know that they have RDNA 2. That has been confirmed. How much of RDNA 2 they have compared to the Xbox, I'm going to leave that to the professionals who actually know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, and when it comes to like that type of stuff too, it is like, you know, I see people yell about it on Twitter, right? You hear the fanboys like going this, that, the other thing. I'm not an expert on the matter. Again, I go back to that dealer tweet, right? Like, there's some features they probably wanted. There's some features they probably thought they could lose with, or weren't going to utilize, and so they made their own custom board. Both of them are very own custom iterations of RDNA 2. So again, yeah, it looks like they don't have some features, but they definitely have features like ray tracing. It's kind of like when you compare an iPhone to an Android product, right? It's never really a one-to-one because the iPhone has or works with its own silicon than like a Samsung does. So their performances, they have their own different peaks and valleys. So they could be even like a similar spec, but again, because of that different silicon, there's different peaks and valleys to their performances. So it's really like this like muddy thing that, again, like it's really used for people to throw at each other rather than like, yeah, like really at the end of the day, like, do the games look nice? Do they feel nice? Like that's you know, that's what I always come down on. I don't know much of when it comes to like the inner guts of either machine.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, listen, it's going to be, look, both, if you're getting both systems, like I think most of us are, or actually want to do, you're gonna have enjoyable content for both. And like I said, if you're a Switch owner like me, like Pikmin 3 came out today, guess what I'm doing? I'm buying an old game because, God damn it, Nintendo, they always get me. My God, I just can't stop. And of course, the new Zelda game. Joe, did you play the demo?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah, you got to play the new demo for the new Zelda game.
I'll have an answer to you then.
Yeah, and
I have a lot of editing to do, so I'm going to be using my
go to your editing, but definitely get to it. It's definitely worth it. But I want to move on to a topic I'm very excited to talk about. I think many people might be excited to talk about it as well. You know, Spider-Man Miles Morales, for like someone like Joe, he means a lot to him personally for very, very personal reasons. And obviously it's a launch title for the PlayStation 5. Thankfully, it is coming to the PlayStation 4. So the millions of fans that supported Insomniac Games and Sony get a chance to they don't have to miss out, because and I'm going to tell you this right now. This is we knew about this, but I want to just kind of add to why it's great news. We just had a story that I pulled that I'm going to be talking about on Monday's Primetime Gaming about how Sony has basically confirmed that you're not going to be able to walk into a store and get a PlayStation 5, and that they're talking about how COVID has affected how many PlayStation 5s they're able to produce, which is why they're launching in only so many regions, as opposed to, like, for instance, and again, this is roles reversed from 2013. If you remember, the Xbox One launched in, I believe it was 13 regions, and Sony, I believe it was like 31. It was almost a 2-to-1 kind of a thing. Whereas now in 2020, Microsoft is releasing in 36 countries. Sony is only releasing in 12, and then a few more, I believe, on the 19th. I think it's going to be another 6 or 7. So unfortunately, with Miles Morales, if it would have only been locked behind the PlayStation 5, that would have not been a good thing for both the fans and Sony, because you can only sell it on the PlayStation 5, so you're not going to move a lot of copies. A lot of people don't like Spider-Man. A lot of people did not like the game, which I disagree, but everyone's taste is different. Now that it's available on the PlayStation 4 day and date, more people that will not be able to upgrade to a PlayStation 5 for a multitude of reasons. One, financially being the most important thing, because right now finances are very questionable for many Americans and other people around the world. But more specifically, because you might not be able to get a PlayStation 5 to play that game, which is again, it's not good. It's not a good look. But again, the world is the way it is. But I want to keep up with I want to talk about the latest trailer from Insomniac. You know, they took to social media recently to reveal a few things. First of all, they put out the Rhino trailer, which is the first boss battle that both you and, of course, Spider-Man, fight against, and it looks epic. But one of the most interesting thing is, what was the Prowler, who was related directly to Miles Morales? Was he going to be in the game? Was he going to play an integral part? And yes, Insomniac has confirmed through a comic book variant cover, marking the first appearance of the Prowler for the upcoming PlayStation 4/PlayStation 5 title. And it is the Prowler in the classic Spider-Man villain. And we know who the Prowler is. He is as classic for Spider-Man as someone like Doc Ock or Mysterio. Maybe a lot of people don't even know who he is, but obviously he is in fact related directly to Miles Morales. And while the Prowler will likely be the central character in narrative for Miles, he is certainly not the only villain in the game. We know that the Tinkerer has been confirmed. He's a gadget-wielding villain. We also know that you're going to have the Rhino. I don't know if past the one boss battle what we're going to get with him, but I definitely want to talk about the trailer. And I'm going to go to Joe first on this, because, Joe, you are one of the biggest Spider-Man, more specifically Miles Morales fans. How excited were you to not only see the new Rhino trailer, but the new information that dropped today that you talked about? What are the fans getting?
Man, you're getting it all. This is while you were talking, I'm amping myself up because I'm watching the Into the Spider-Verse suit trailer, where someone has put "What's Up, Danger" over the trailer, and you're just getting it all, man. Like, this is Insomniac don't miss, man. Like,
They just don't.
Yes, and like, look, COVID sucks, right? It's affecting all different types, and maybe we get to it, but maybe we don't. But like, it's affecting how games are going to be shipped. I think Best Buy just announced recently that they're like, if you want a next gen console, it's through the website.
Yes, you won't be able to go there and do it. Yeah, that sucks.
It's getting really bad. So, like, we're back at where we were in March. People need to escape, man. And so I tell everybody, please get this digitally. I was on the bandwagon for a very, very long time, and I think today really I'm off it, of just like, man, I wish this was a PlayStation 5 exclusive, but now I don't care. Go out there, wherever console, it's PS4, PS5. We have a giveaway right now. We literally just announced it. Follow us at PS Trophy Room. Get a chance to win a copy of Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's seriously, it's just awesome. It's just special. It's awesome to see Miles really get in the spotlight, having his own game, man, having his story be shared with even more people on the back of what has been and what is my favorite movie of all time, favorite superhero film, favorite animated film. It's awesome. All of this is awesome. It's amazing. That's all I got for you.
What could you say? I mean, obviously, right now, I mean, it's a great time to be a Marvel fan. A lot of stuff to get excited about. I mean, obviously, we should have already had the Loki series, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We should have had. We are at least getting WandaVision, which is going to lead into some potentially serious multiverse related content. Obviously, with Doctor Strange coming, we're hearing that we're going to get all 3 Spider-Men back. We're going to get, we're going to get Andrew Garfield to be in there. We're going to get Tobey Maguire to come back, which sounds just dope.
Dude, what if they really do like I'm really hoping they're looking at what DC's doing with Batman and going,
they are. I absolutely think they are. Yeah, I
need Tom Holland in the MCU.
I'm gonna throw a Spider-Man out there that no one remembers. Folks, you don't remember this because you're not as old as me. But if you are as old as me and you remember the Electric Company from the 70s,
oh shit.
Okay, here we go. That's right. Now, did you know? Here's a little bit of a fact that there was a Spider-Man that used to be on that show. That he'd fight like letters and stuff because it was a learning show. But did you know who was the man behind the mask on the Electric Company from the 70s? Morgan Freeman was said man that played Spider-Man.
Really?
That is right. So I would love to. Could you imagine if ridiculous if Morgan Freeman dons the Spider-Man outfit in the Multiverse of Madness from the Electric Company? Get it done, Marvel. Let's go. If I was listening, that would be pretty dope. That was a really way back.
Right. Just Morgan Freeman and Spider-Man. Like, I like to tell you that the Green Goblin fought the good fight and got away.
He didn't speak. There was no voice from Spider-Man. The thing would pop over his head like in a comic book, but it was still dope that Morgan Freeman was the original Spider-Man from the Electric in the 70s. Sorry. That is kind of dope. BitCloud, are you back? Are you back, brother? He is still muted. Okay, so you know what we're going to do is we're going to move on to Slow-Mo. Slow-Mo,
yo,
I know that you don't have a PlayStation. Hopefully, you could win one. Who knows? Who knows? We'll talk about that privately. But
I still have my PlayStation 4. I actually did just secure. Shout out to Jay Barry out there who saw my tweet about how I missed out on what I said earlier about missing out on the Pulse 3D headset. Jay Barry saw that Walmart has some stock and sent me a link to it. So I finally got that Pulse 3D headset. Now I'm just working on that PlayStation 5. Like I still got my PS4, and I'm about to hold on to it until I can get the next gen PlayStation. But yeah,
are you going to play Miles Morales? Because obviously you can move it from one to the other, or are you just going to?
I really want to play on the PlayStation 5. But if I can't get one before it comes out, then I guess I gotta do what I gotta do because I hate like spoilers. I hate people be like, "Oh, did you see that part?
Did you see that?
No, I didn't see it.
No, you've ruined my life."
Right. So I probably would just go ahead and play it on my, outdated piece of crap PlayStation over here, But it is what it is. I do like Prowler being stop it stop it Joe.
There we go. He's got the blue glove.
I gotta inside out, so I gotta get him normal, but as you guys talk, we're doing a little unboxing on the show.
Oh, great.
An unboxing within a podcast, within a live stream.
But no, I like
fantastic. I don't know if I could wait. Like, I'm not waiting on Watch Dogs because I'm a big Ubisoft fan. I don't know. So I don't know if I could wait for Spider-Man Miles Morales just because I'm worried for people that really want a PS5 Slow-Mo. If you're going to be able to get one in 2020, that you're not going to get beat over the head with scalping prices.
Oh no, I refuse to indulge scalpers. Like I'm a firm believer that scalpers wouldn't be so invested in scalping these consoles and this kind of product if people wouldn't just break down and spend like double to 3 times the price for that console. If you don't do that, then the scalpers realize, well, I just bought all this additional, inventory for no reason, and I'm not getting the return on investment that I thought I'd be getting, and so they wouldn't do it. But I refuse to spend that much. I want a digital PS5, and I'm going to spend the retail cost of what that digital PS5 is for.
What you want to spend,
exactly. But they talk about Spider-Man 1, Prowler, great character. To get into to put my nerd hat on, the the Earth 616, which is the regular Marvel universe,
Right,
comics universe.
that's one that we go to first. Yeah.
Right. That's a different Prowler. I think his name was, he was still a black dude. I think his name was Dwayne Brown, I think. But different Prowler, still a cool character. The one in the one for the Ultimate Universe, the Miles Morales Prowler is Aaron Davis, which is of course his uncle, which we all saw from the actual movie. And I think he's a really, really cool character. I'm glad that he's going to be in the game, because why not? Why not have a really good villain in the game? No other really Spider character really has a family member that is an antagonist, so to speak. So it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to look at Bad Bit over here.
Yeah, he's ready. He's definitely ready for the Sony experience, and he's got all his stuff ready. Yeah, I'm with you, brother. I don't know. I mean, listen. Hopefully, you can find a way to secure one. I'm a little disappointed with Sony the way they handled it. To be honest, it was a botched pre-order. It was the Wild West. Let's call a spade a spade. It was the Wild West. I was lucky to get one, and it's funny. I only got one literally by the seat of my pants, because I happened to be going into GameStop, and as I jumped in there, like, oh, they just went live. Craig, do you want to pre-order? Whoa! I thought they weren't going to do it to the next day or the day after that. So of course I pre-ordered it, and thankfully Mrs. Boom was able to pre-order the digital edition, which we're giving away. So we did secure 2, because I'm buying the disc version. I don't want to be painted into a corner because I have a lot of discs. And Mrs. Boom was able to get online and secure the digital one for our giveaway, which I'm glad that we were able to do that, because someone's going to win one. And thanks to my brother, we were able to get our hands on a second Series X, which we're giving away as well. So at least I don't have to send someone the money and then send them out to go get them themselves. Whoever wins, which we'll announce next week, is actually going to get the console as soon as we get it. We're going to send it out 2-day air. Whatever it costs us to ship it, we're going to ship it. And whoever wins
2-day, you don't have to do 2-day to send to me. You're in New York. I'm in DC. So I mean, you could just do it. You're just regular ground.
You'll get it the next day. Okay, no problem. Listen, let's get BitCloud. Are you there yet, brother? Maybe he's having some technical issues. So Crispy Bomb, you obviously have talked about this, that you want to play Miles Morales. Thankfully, if you decide to pick up that PlayStation 4, as you said from your buddy, that you will be able to do that. Is this a game that you're looking forward to? But did you get a chance to see the new trailer?
I did not. I am familiar with the Prowler, so it's an interesting take, because they still have so many villains they haven't really even shown yet, and I'm sure they're gonna bring some stuff in. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted by a Bad Bit over here, but with his hand waves with the blue gloves, like. But yeah, it's definitely a game I am looking forward to, just like Ghost of Tsushima, and you never know. I could get so invested in these games as they come out next gen. I pick up a PS5. It's one of those things that it's an icon. It is Marvel, the face of Marvel. So it's going to be interesting. I'm seeing a lot of that about the PS5, like having like botched pre-orders and stuff like that. I know Xbox has had a few. I haven't seen quite as many. It's a little disheartening, because I think we're all looking for our own escape, especially for PlayStation gamers. I mean, if they actually got the pre-order and then got that email saying, no, you're not getting one, I mean, that's pretty that hurts the feels a little bit. So yeah. I'm actually like, I'm going to try to get it in person, my Series X. I got a Best Buy, I got a couple of GameStops near me. If I gotta go to each one and take the day off, I will, because it sounds like they're gonna have some decent stock. So hopefully I get that, either that or I'll just wait. I got a 1X. I mean, all these games are coming to both, last gen and this upcoming gen. So that's a plus, because I felt like especially like you're gonna lock Spider-Man behind PS5 and not have it available, that would have really sucked. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, as we see more about it, and I'm sure I'm gonna look at the trailer and just be as excited as you guys. So
Yeah, I think everyone is going to have a good time, regardless of what console you get. Hopefully, if you are in the market for a new console, you will be allotted the opportunity to do so. I think Microsoft has already said that they are going to. The reason why they didn't do a second round of pre-orders is because they were trying to keep the scalpers away. And from what I understand, we're going to get a significant amount. I know that the Series X and S are going to have stock in almost all of the places that you're going to be able to walk into that are going to be open. And hopefully, people, again, if you want these consoles, you're going to be able to get them. Unfortunately for Sony, the PlayStation 5 does seem like that is going to be something that is unfortunately going to be very, very short in supply. If you didn't secure a pre-order that wasn't already canceled, which sucks. You'll be able to get in there and get it, but unfortunately, they have confirmed you're not going to be able to walk into places to get it, and that's terrible. I understand COVID. The world is effed up right now. You know what I'm saying? And I think that both companies would have been better prepared if we didn't have COVID. I think the world, we again, real world problems. People are dying all over the place, and we're talking about consoles. So obviously, people are more important, but it kind of sucks if you really are in the market for a PlayStation 5. You're really excited to play like Demon Souls, for instance, that you can only play on the PlayStation 5. We know that it's coming to the PlayStation 4, just not now. So if you can't secure a PlayStation 5 and you really, really wanted that game, that's going to hurt. And I hope that people do not entice these scalpers and pay $900 for a PlayStation 5 you could have bought for $4. Don't do it. Just wait. But let's get Dreadpool's opinion on this. Dreadpool, I don't know if you're getting a PlayStation 5 if you had it pre-ordered or if you even have a PlayStation 4 at this point. But did you get a chance to watch any of the new trailers for Miles Morales? Is it a game that you'd be interested in playing?
Well, back to the original release of that trailer, when we thought it was a full-on game, I said it was a console seller, and I still believe it is.
I agree.
It's just getting more information and finding out more facts about it was a little bit depressing for being so hyped up over like, this is awesome, and then you find out more and it's just not up to what you anticipated it to be. You know what I mean? Like I said, I still think it's a system seller. It's obvious that however many PlayStation 5s they sell, it's going to be like a 1-to-1 ratio.
Oh, I would agree. I would think so. Yeah,
right?
I agree.
And you're going to lose out on the core base that's there now that they've established. That's so obviously you're going to have to play it on the PlayStation 4 if you can't get to the 5 unless you can wait it out. I am not getting the 5 just yet. I had to, with money and all that and everything, cutting down on my hours. So I had to like make the choice. And I was like, you know what? There are other fans that are fighting to get this and trying to figure out when they can get their PS5 and seeing that it's canceled. So I'm kind of glad I held off because I was going to wait till next year. So the true hardcore fans can get their opportunity to get it versus the lucky few that could get it that could care less, you know what I mean? Or the bots. So I want the fans to actually get it that are going to support them 100%. I want to play it. I'm probably, like I said before, with Ghost of Tsushima, I'm going to buy it next year. I'm going to wait and I'm going to play it on the 5. So I make out on that because I yet to play the Spider-Man on PS4.
Nice. Well, yeah, you get to the $70 edition. You get both, and you're going to get all of the advantages on the PlayStation 5. That's actually not a bad thing. If you missed out on them, there's no need to rush into it now.
Yeah, you know what the worst part is? I bought the system, that $200 system that came with it, and all that for last Christmas, but I gave it away.
Yeah, gifts, man.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It was for my brother-in-law, so it's like.
Yeah,
do I have to. I'm like, can we just open it up? I gotta, update the software for him. My wife's like, no.
No, give that away. Yeah, I mean, something. Listen, it's always best to give, and you always get it in on the return. At least that's how I think. At least that's how it's been for me. Before we get on out of here, because we've already crossed the 2 hour mark. Let's see if we got BitCloud back. BitCloud Gaming, are you there, my friend? He is not there. Okay, so he's probably having some technical issues. I know he's been updating his PC, so maybe that is what it is. Let me catch up on some of the super chats before we get on out of here. We do the outros. Bounty Boom, very good, generous friend of the show, drops an additional outstanding $2 super chat, says great show. Boom, have to go hit that like button. Yeah, folks, listen, if you're here, if you enjoyed the show, we had over 400 people here today, which is pretty cool. And for a Halloween episode, I think we covered everything. Our scariest games, Resident Evil, Spider-Man. He wears a costume, so why the heck not? And what we've been playing, and hopefully you did in fact enjoy yourself. We have a good friend of the show, Mariano Pampa, who drops an outstanding and extremely generous $10 super chat, says finally able to catch Breakfast with Boom live. Awesome panel and show, Boom. Also, congrats on the success, Joe. You pulled a third headset video. Everyone have a safe Halloween. Yes, indeed, you too. And Joe's been cranking out the content for sure. So if you are looking for good quality PlayStation content that is not driven by hate, not driven by narrative, that's simply driven by someone who enjoys playing game, the Trophy Room is your spot. And we'll get into your outro in a second. We have Stubbs Gaming, who's recovering from knee surgery. Hopefully you got those staples out and you will be on your road to recovery very soon. Stubbs, he drops an outstanding $2 super chat. Thank you for that. So Joe, we'll start with you on the outros. Speaking of Trophy Room, you did a rebranding. You let us see that incredible new intro that was unbelievable, to be honest with you. And I want you to talk about Trophy Room, where people could find you on social media, and where could people pop by and check out the outstanding #1 PlayStation show on YouTube.
You know what? That's yeah. Second to BitCloud. Yeah, I'll agree to that. First off, Stubbs, your knee. I hope it's doing a lot better. My mother actually had like knee replacement surgery about like a year and a half ago. That is always a real son of a bitch of a surgery. So I hope you're doing all right and you're making the best of it. And playing plenty of games as well. When I mean making the best of it. You can find the Trophy Room, a PlayStation show, over there on YouTube. It's where we talk about the latest and greatest of PlayStation each and every week. We have 2 unboxings. We unbox the DualSense controller that I'm holding here, and we also unbox the headset that you get, the Pulse 3D headset. Next week, we'll be doing a review on that headset. We'll be doing a review on the SteelSeries Arctis 7P headsets. So go over to YouTube over at the Trophy Room to check that out. You can check out the Trophy Room podcast over there as well. Or you can check out the Trophy Room podcast over at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you get your RSS feeds. And you can follow the show at PS Trophy Room. We just announced we're doing a Spider-Man Miles Morales giveaway. It's literally the most recent tweet. All you got to do is like, retweet, follow the Trophy Room, all that stuff, and you're enrolled to win. We're going to be announcing a winner on the 5th. So there you go.
Well, thank you for being here as always, brother. And hopefully somebody wins that Miles Morales giveaway, and again, support the Trophy Room. He's doing great work over there.
Question for you, Boom. Should I do an unboxing of this little baby remote I just opened?
I would, because I have that picked up as well. I mean, I think people want to see it. I think that look, I'm going to be honest with you. I have both pre-ordered. I have both the Xbox Series X remote as well as that one. I absolutely, to be honest with you, like the PlayStation one more because of the dedicated buttons for Netflix, for Hulu, for everything. I think that'd be actually not a bad unboxing, because it's not expensive. It's not an expensive controller. And if you are going to use your PlayStation 5 as besides being your gaming system to get to these other services, the touch of the button is always fantastic. So yeah, I would definitely do that for sure. And Crispy Bomb, we'll go to you next, brother. You have been busy. Not only are you on Breakfast with Boom each and every week, you are on a couple of other programs, and we know that the next podcast has returned. Will be making its return hopefully sooner than later. And of course, Retro Renegades is always a place that people should stop by and support Jay and those gentlemen over there. Do me a favor, brother. Tell everyone about those programs, but also where could people reach out to you on social media?
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, sorry I was late, but hey, stuff happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, morning podcasts, you know how it goes with these gamers over here. No, at Crispy Bomb on Twitter, Crispy Bomb 28 Xbox Live. Yes, you can find me on Retro Renegade 7 p.m. Tuesday nights. This week I will be a guest, and I believe somebody else here on Gaming After Dark.
Indeed,
with Mr. Noof and Titan Drago and the Mag. So that should be a hoot, as we like to say. And yeah, next podcast has returned 7 p.m. Thursday nights. We are back, baby. And of course, Breakfast with Boom, 10 a.m. Fridays. Hopefully I'm not late next time. And yes, I would like to say happy Halloween.
Yes, happy Halloween indeed, for sure, brother. Thank you so much for being here as always. We'll go to Slow-Mo. Slow-Mo, you have been busy yourself. Not only has your channel exploded, but you obviously teamed up with a very good friend of ours, and Gaming Forte, and the tandem that you have going on with your show, I think is fantastic. The chemistry is there. I think you guys are making some big leaps and bounds for getting people to be in that live chat, as well, of course, as you being on with our good friend each and every Wednesday. Why don't you tell everyone about the programs that you're on, what you got going on, and where could people follow you on social media?
Yeah, man. Hey, Boom. Thanks for the invite. Of course, it's always a good time on Breakfast with Boom. And yeah, like my channel, I think is doing pretty good. This is definitely growing. Come check it out if you haven't so far. I make a lot of uploaded videos, just my opinions on gaming, and as well as just trying to show people some games that they may not have heard of yet that are really good and definitely going to be games to look out for on the horizon. Like I was talking about Genshin Impact a year ago when people didn't even know it existed, stuff like that. DPS podcast is awesome. We had our 8th episode last night with Gamer Forte. It was a lot of fun. Come check it out if you haven't watched it yet. But I'm also on Scumcast tomorrow with the Ash and Luca and the whole crew, the whole Legion of Scum out here. And that's at 4 p.m. Eastern. And also on Brat Podcast Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Easterns as well. So again, yeah, check out all the places you'll find me at. Also on Twitter as well. Talking about gaming, of course, and laughing at the foolishness that goes on. But it is what it is. And you guys, I hope you guys have a great weekend, a great time, playing games and not just playing corporations, right? So
exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, we want everyone to be safe. If you're going to go out, be careful, wear a mask, be cautious, especially with the trick-or-treating. If you have kids, I don't know if I would take them. I'm a little nervous with COVID exploding. I mean, yesterday morning in Connecticut, which is close to New Rochelle, they were at 4.1, and now they're up to 6.4. In under a day. So
let me correct something in the chat, because I see some people who were on the show yesterday that's spreading some misinformation.
No, not on the internet.
So there is people have been trying to get me to play Bugsnax for forever, right?
You should. It's free. It's free.
Boom! Stop it! Stop it! Boom! Boom! Stop! I don't want to play Bugsnax.
You were singing the song yesterday. Stop.
And see, here we go with misinformation. We got Big Cloud ain't been here for about 45 minutes. He come back just to talk about Bugsnax. I'm not playing Bugsnax. I don't want to play Bugsnax. I ain't want to play it when it was $60. I don't want to play it with it's free with PS Plus. Huh? I don't know how. Look, $2 was too much for me. I don't want to play that game, but people kept coming at me. Oh, it's free now, PS Plus. Slow-Mo, go play. But I said, all right, look, y'all want me to play the game? Give me to 1K subs. I'll play the game.
Okay, that's a good challenge. So let's first of all, let's get him to 1K because he's an amazing content creator. But the extra sugar on top of this tasty cake that's in front of us could be the fact that he will play a game he doesn't want to play. So let's get him to 1K subs.
They just want to see me suffer, which is fine. You know, like if I'm a suffer, you know, make it worth my while. But then Forte in his infinite zero wisdom decided to try to up the stakes and say how much to make you platinum it. And I'm like, wait,
Holy
what?
cow.
I don't even know what the trophy requirements are for this game.
It's probably an easy one. It has to be.
It probably is, but knowing my luck, it could be eat 1 million strawberries as a trophy. And it's just like, you know what? No. So like now there's this whole thing of 2K subs for platinuming Bug Snacks. No, I'm not doing it.
Huh? Right, and he falls in love with this game. What if that happens?
Well, you know what? In some alternate multiverse, a slow-mo may actually fall in love with this game, but this one from slow-mo and Earth 616.
So what you're saying? Slow-mo from 616 is not in love with Bug Snacks, though Earth 900 potentially.
Yeah, Earth 900 potentially, the one that had a head injury, but back when he was might actually be cool with it. But for this one, no.
I've heard that head injury is contagious. So watch out.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be contagious, but let's get everyone out of here. Dreadpool, we'll go to you next, brother. First of all, you have been doing some great work. You're on a couple of podcasts as well. You've been doing your own, own thing, which I think is very unusual, but at the same time intriguing, and should get more ears to it for sure. Not Mark Cerny ears, but other people's ears, to be honest. Tell everyone about what you got going on, brother, and where can people follow you on social media?
All right. Well, first of all, again, my apologies for oversleeping. You know,
don't worry about it, bro.
It's that whole work schedule, so it happens at times. You know, but what Boom is talking about is Breaking Bread with Dread.
Indeed,
I have it at Anchor FM. So if you go to anchor.fm Dreadpool, you can find all the places that it's all audio: Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Podcast, Castbox, all that stuff. There's like 9 different places that it goes to. So if you guys follow any of those places, you can go right there, or you can play it directly right off of Anchor FM. Okay. And what it's about is we sit down, I meet up with another personality. We sit down, we talk about the food that we're going to get ready to eat. We promote the local business in that area, and we start conversing. You know what I mean? So we talk about gaming, we talk about life, anything that basically pops up, pop culture, anything like that, so there is no actual script. So everything's organic. You'll actually hear the waitress come by or the waiter come by and talk to us, take our order. It just depends on when I remember to hit record. Because there's a lot of times it's like we start talking and it's just natural. We get into knowing each other and talking about stuff. And once you start talking about gaming, it's all over. It's like, oh, I forgot to hit record. So, but it like I said, we do things completely different, and it's live in a restaurant where you hear everything in the background that's going on. So it's in stereo. So I highly suggest you listen with some headphones or a good stereo surround sound. You might catch some cool little tidbits in the background. However, we do not chew with our mouths open. So there's no nom with our mouths.
Well, that's good to know.
Weird stuff. Yeah. I haven't had a guest.
God, I can't stand that sound. It's a pet
I can't
peeve.
stand that sound in general. So I wouldn't want to hear that on a podcast. So luckily everybody I haven't had to say anything to. Everybody's been, good mouth close chewers, whatever you want to call it. However,
you never have my mother on the show. She's the most disgusting eater I've ever seen in my life. It actually pisses me off.
Oh no, me and my wife we're like that. We just can't. No, it's like no. Shut your mouth. Chew like that. We're not cows,
or else
we can eat like cows, but we don't have to sound like them.
Exactly.
So, And for the foodies, I've started describing more of the food with what's going on, because a lot of them are like, I want to know more about that food. What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? And it's like, okay, so we're trying to welcome everybody's different tastes in there. So that being said, you can find me on Twitter, Dreadpool, the O's are zeros, YouTube, Gamertag, and Stadia, Dreadpool, all caps, all letters. And then every Wednesday night, Gaming Beyond the Box at 8 p.m. with the rest of the crew on Wilmy Hood's channel. We also do Playcasters on the weekends. The crew broadcasts all time of day, all time of night. Our own little things. We have Fireside News Radio. So some of us participate in that. As Boom was saying earlier in the show, I am sponsoring a haunted house where I bring my products out there. I scare the living crap out of people. So we do that, and this is the last weekend we're doing it. So I will be able to join everybody back on Saturdays, and gaming out there. We got Friday mornings right here, Breakfast with Boom, when I don't accidentally sleep in, and Italian Clowns. We all know him. He's got 4 Guys with Quarters. I help him run along with Crispy, where we do the interviews with studio personnel, actresses, actors, writers. I mean, anything involving with gaming or pop culture that Clowns is doing, he'll invite us depending on who he thinks will help out with the interview best, and we go from there.
Well, listen, you got a lot going on, brother, and everyone should support you for sure. And we're hopefully that you can get some more views on that new program you got running on, because it is certainly interesting. And last but not least, we're going to Crispy Bomb. You finally got back here, brother. I said Crispy Bomb. My God, BitCloud Gaming. Thank you so much for being here, dude. Definitely appreciate you jumping in. Real quick, I want you to talk about your channel rolling into 10K subs, which is outstanding to know. Another PlayStation podcast that I think people should tune into. Tell everyone about where they can check that out, but more importantly, follow you on social media.
Yeah, nearing 3,000 followers on Twitter and 10,000 on YouTube, which is big deal. But
unbelievable.
Look at this guy, big man on campus over here.
I'm working on it. No, good show. I had to step away for a little bit, so sorry about that. But great show. Good talking to everybody. Dreadpool, Crispy, Slow-Mo, always a pleasure. And obviously, Joe, you're in all of this. But appreciate you guys in the chat. Definitely hit that like button for Boom here. He's about to hit 7,000. Yes. So that's what's up. Keep up the good work, brother. You guys can find me at BitCloud Gaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and 5 p.m. RGD podcast. But yeah, until next time, you guys be awesome. Enjoy your weekend. See you guys later.
Yeah, and thanks so much for being here as always. And obviously, what I'm going to do is I'd like to close out the show with something that's important to me. Hopefully, one day it will be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught me. And I think that in this world, the way it is now, we need this more than ever. And he used to say, son, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, and I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom. Have a good weekend, everyone. Be safe, and happy Halloween.